The book of Exodus, chapter 1. These are the names of the children of Israel who came to Egypt. Each man and his family came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. So all the descendants who came out of the lions of Jacob were synod descendants. Joseph was already in Egypt. Now Joseph died together with all his brothers and all that generation, and the children of Israel bore fruit and increased in abundance and multiplied and were very numerous, so that the land was full of them. Then a new king arose in Egypt, who did not know Joseph. He said to his people, "Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more numerous and stronger than we are. Come on, let us work wisely with them, otherwise they will multiply, and it will come to pass that in case of war, they will also go themselves to our enemies and fight against them and drive them out of the land." Therefore they put out workmen out of them, that they might load them with burdens, and they built the cities of Pithom and Rameses for the treasures of Pharaoh. But the more they annoyed them, the more they multiplied and magnified themselves. Therefore they raged against the children of Israel. Therefore the Egyptians by their cruelty enslaved the children of Israel. They made them weary of their lives with the hard labor in clay, brick, and all the work in the field, with all kinds of slavery which they imposed on them with great cruelty. The king of Egypt commanded you halfings of the women of Hebrew, one of whom was called Nishara and the other Puah, and said, "When you do the office of midwife to the women of the Hebrews, and see them on their sides, if it is a son, you shall kill him, but if it is a daughter, you shall let her live." However, you Midian feared God and did not do as the king of Egypt and had commanded them, but preserved the sons of men. Then the king of Egypt called the midwives and said to them, "Why did you do this and preserve the male children?" The midwife answered Pharaoh, "Because the women of Hebrew are not like the women of Egypt, for they are delicate and are disappointed as soon as the midwife reaches them." Therefore God prospered the midwives, and the people multiplied and were very numerous, because the midwives feared God. He made them houses. Then Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, "Every male child that has been delivered, throw him into the river, but reserve every male child for others." The book of Exodus, chapter 2. Then a man of the house of Levi took to wife a daughter of Levi, and the woman gave birth and bore a son. And when she saw that he was handsome, she hid him for 3 pennies. But when she could hid him no longer, she took for him an ark of reeds, sprinkled it with oils and pitch, laid the child in it, and placed it among the rushes by the bank of the river. His sister stayed away to see what would happen to him. Then Pharaoh's daughter went down to wash in the river, and her maidens walked beside the river. And when she saw the ark among the bushes, she sent her teacher to fetch it. Then she opened it and saw that it was a child, and behold, the child wept. She had compassion on it and said, "This is one of the sons of Hebrews." Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get you a nurse of the Hebrew women to nurse the child?" Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." Then the maid went and called the mother of the child, to whom Pharaoh's daughter said, "Take this child and suckle it for me, and I will reward you." Then the woman took the baby and nursed it. Now the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter. He was like a son, and she named him Moses, because she said, "I brought him out of the water." In those days, when Moses had grown up, he went to his brothers and looked at the burdens. He also saw an Egyptian striking a Hebrew, one of his brothers. He looked around and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. On the second day, he went out, and behold, 2 Hebrews were fighting. And he said to the one who had done the wrong, "Why do you strike your fellow?" And he answered, "Who made you a man of authority and a judge outside of us? Do you think think to kill me as you killed the Egyptian? Then Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now Pharaoh, knowing this fact, sought to kill Moses. Therefore Moses fled from Pharaoh and settled in the land of Midian, sitting by a well. So the priest of Midian had some daughters who came and drew water and filled troughs to water their father's sheep. Then the shepherd came and drove them out, but Moses stood up and defended them and watered their sheep. When they came to Reuel their father, he said, how is it that you have come so soon? They answered, a man from Egypt took the cattle out of the shepherd's hands, drew enough water, and watered the sheep. Then he said to his daughters, where is he? Why have you abandoned him? Call him that he may eat bread. Moses agreed to dwell with the man, who gave Moses Zipporah his daughter, and she bore him a son, whom he called Gerashon. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. Then as time passed, the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel signed for slavery and wept, and their weeping for slavery reached God. God heard their weeping and remembered his agreement with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So God looked upon the children of Israel and had respect for them. The book of Exodus, chapter 3. When Moses gathered the flock of Jethro, his father, priest of Midian, and led the flock to the back part of the wilderness, and came to the mountain of God, Horeb, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush, and he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, and the bush was not consumed. Moses said, now I will turn around and see this great sign, for the bush does not burn. When the Lord heard that he had turned to see, God called to him from the middle of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he answered, I am here. Then he said, do not come here. Take your shoes off your feet, for the place where you are standing is a holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Then Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord said, I have seen the troubles of my people who are in Egypt, and I have heard their weeping because of their masters, for I know their sorrows. Therefore I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of the land, to a good and great land, to a land flowing with milk and honey, that is to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, and the Jebusites. And behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppress them. Come therefore, I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I to go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? He answered, surely I will be with you, and this shall be for you the sign that I have sent you. After you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. Then Moses said to God, behold, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. If they say to me, what is his name? What shall I say to them? God answered Moses, I am what I am. And he also said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent me to you. And God spoke again to Moses, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my remembrance for all ages. Go and gather the elders of Israel and say to them, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared to me and said, I have remembered you, and what was done to you in Egypt. Therefore I said, I will bring you out of the affliction of Egypt to the land of Canaan, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, and the Jebusites, to a land flowing with milk and honey. Then they shall obey your journey, and you and the elders of Israel shall go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Therefore, we beseech you to let us go 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go except by a strong hand. Therefore I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all my wonders that I will do in its center. After that he will let you go. I will cause his people to be soiled by the Egyptians, so that when you go, you will not leave empty. For every woman shall ask her neighbor, and she who sojourn in her house, for single jewelry and gold jewelry and garments, and you shall put them on your sons and your daughters, and you shall fleece the Egyptians. The book of Exodus chapter 4. Then Moses answered, But behold, they will not listen to me or heed my speech, for they will say, The Lord has not appeared to you. The Lord said to him, What is that in your hand? And he answered, A rod. Then he said, Throw it on the ground. He threw it on the ground, and it turned into a serpent. And Moses fled from it. Then the Lord said to Moses, Put forth your right hand and take it by the neck. So he put forth his hand and took it, and it turned into a rod in his hand. Do this so that they may see that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has appeared to you. The Lord further said to him, Now thrust your hand into your bosom. He thrust his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out again, behold, his hand was leprous as shown. He said to him again, Put your hand in your bosom again. Then he put his hand in her breast again, and drew it out of his breast, and behold, it had become like her old flesh. So it shall be, if they do not follow you and obey the word of the first sign, but follow themselves by the word of the second sign. But if they do not abide by these two signs and do not obey your sign, then you shall take water from the river and sprinkle it on the dry land. So the water you take from the river will turn into blood on the dry land. But Moses said to the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, nor have I ever been eloquent, for I am not yet eloquent, since thou hast spoken to thy servant, but I am slow of speech and slow of language. Then the Lord said to him, Who gave man a mouth? Who created the dumb, the deaf, and the one who sees, or the blind? I am the Lord. Therefore go now, and I will be with you, your mouth, and teach you what you should say. But he said, O my Lord, depart, I pray thee, by the hand of him to whom thou must depart. Then the Lord became very angry with Moses and said, Do I not know that Aaron your brother, the leader, will speak himself? For it is true that he also comes here to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. Therefore you shall speak to him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and teach you what you are to do. He shall be your mouthpiece to the people, and he shall be as your mouth, and you shall be to him as God. Moreover, you shall take this rod in your hand, which you shall do miracles. Then Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father, and said to him, Please let me go back to my brothers who are in Egypt, and see if they are still alive. Then Jethro said to Moses, Go in peace, for the Lord has said to Moses in Midian, Go away, return to Egypt, for they are all dead who wanted to kill you. Then Moses took his wife and his children and put them on a plank and went back forward to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of God in his hand. And the Lord said to Moses, When you've entered and return to Egypt, see that you perform before Pharaoh all the wonders that I have put in your hand. But I will harden his heart, and he will not let the people go. Then thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, my firstborn. Therefore I say to you, let my son go, that he may serve me. If you refuse to let him go, behold, I will kill your son, your firstborn. While he was on the way, the Lord met him and would have killed him. Then the Pharaoh took a sharp knife cut off her son's foreskin, threw it at his feet, and said, "You are indeed a bloody husband to me." So she turned away from him. Then she said, "O bloodthirsty husband, because of circumcision." Then the Lord said to Aaron, "Go meet Moses in the wilderness." And he went and met him on the mount of God and kissed him. Then Moses reported to Aaron all the words of the Lord, who had sent him, and all the signs with which he had charged him. So Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. Aaron reported all the words the Lord had spoken to Moses, and performed the miracles before the people. And the people rejoiced, and when they heard that the Lord had visited the children of Israel and had looked upon their tribulation, they prostrated themselves and worshipped. The book of Exodus chapter 5. Then Moses and Aaron went and said to Pharaoh, "Thus says the Lord God of Israel, let my people go, that they may celebrate a feast for me in the wilderness." Pharaoh said, "Who is the Lord that I should hear his message and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." They said, "We will worship the God of the Hebrews. We beg you to let us go for 3 days in the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God, if he will not bring the plague of the sword upon us." Then the king of Egypt said to them, "Moses and Aaron, why do you cause the people to desist from their work?" Moreover, Pharaoh said, "Behold, many people are now in the land, and you make them leave their burdens." Therefore Pharaoh gave an order on the same day to the leaders of the people and their officers, saying, "Give your burdens to everyone. You shall no longer give the people rope to make bricks as in the past, but let them go and gather the rope themselves. And however, let them have the amount of bricks they have made in the past, and do not diminish any of it, for they are idle and cry, 'Let us go and offer sacrifice to our God.' Let the men work harder and make them work, paying no heed to vain words." Then the leaders of the people and the officers went out and said to the people, "Thus says Pharaoh, I will give you no more strength. Go on your way, your own, get straw where you can find it, but nothing of your labor will be diminished." Then the people were scattered throughout the land of Egypt to gather stubble for straw. The labor leaders rebuked them, saying, "Finish your work on each day's work, as you did when you had straw." The officers of the children of Israel, whom Pharaoh's taskmaster had placed in their service, were beaten and asked, "Why did you not finish your brick work yesterday and today, as you did in the past?" Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried out to Pharaoh, "Why do you treat your servants this way? No restraint has been granted to your servants." And they said, "Make bricks, and behold, your servants have been beaten, and your people have been blamed." But he said, "You are too idle. Therefore say, let us go and offer sacrifice to the Lord." Therefore go now and work, for no strength will be granted you. Yet you will deliver the whole history of the break. Then the officers of the children of Israel put themselves in a sounding board, for it had been said, "You shall not diminish anything of your break, nor of the work of every day." They met Moses and Aaron, who were on their way as they were leaving Pharaoh, and said, "The Lord is watching you and judging you, because you have caused our blood to sting before Pharaoh and his servants, because you put a sword in their hands to kill them." Therefore Moses returned to the Lord and said, "Lord, why have you afflicted this people? Why have you sent me thus? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has harassed his people, and you have not yet delivered your people." The book of Exodus chapter 6. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand he will let them go and be forced out of his land." God spoke to Moses again and said to him, "I am the Lord. And I appeared to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob with the name of God Almighty, but my name, Jehovah, I did not know. Moreover, as I made my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of the pilgrimage, where they were strangers, so also I have heard the lament of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians had held in bondage, and have remembered my covenant. Therefore say unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and will bring you out of the bondage of the Egyptians, and will deliver you out of their bondage, and will redeem you with an outstretched arm, and with great sacrifices. Moreover, I will take you as my people, and be your God. Then you will know that I, the Lord your God, have delivered you from the burdens of the Egyptians. I will bring you into the land that I swore to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, and I will give it to you as a possession. I am the Lord. Moses said this to the children of Israel, but they did not listen to Moses because of anguish of spirit and cruel bondage. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Go and speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, that he may let the children of Israel go out of his land. But Moses spoke before the Lord, saying, Behold, the children of Israel will not listen to me. How then shall Pharaoh listen to me, who are of circumcised mind? Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, and charged them to go to the children of Israel and to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. These are the heads of their fathers' houses. The sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, are Hanach and Pali, Hezron and Carmi. These are the families of Reuben. Also the sons of Simeon, Lemion, Laman, Chad, Lachin, Zoa, and Shahu, the son of Kenite. These are the families of Simeon. These are also the names of the sons of Leo in their generations, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. And the years of Leo's life were 130 and 70. The sons of Gershon were Libyan and Shem, according to their families, and the sons of Kohath were Amra, Izhar, Hebron, and Vizel. Korath lived 133 years, and the sons of Meran were Mahali, Mushin. These are the families of Leo, according to their families. Ammon took Luchaba, his father's sister, to wife. She bore him Aaron and Moses, and Ammon lived 130 years. Also, the sons of Izhar, Kohara, Napheg, and Zichere, and the sons of Vizol, Michel, Elizaphan, and Sitra. Aaron took Elishashab, daughter of Aminadab, sister of Nahshon, as his wife, and she bore him Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. Also the sons of Korah, Asaiah, Elkanah, and Abishaph. These are the families of the Korahs. Eleazar, the son of Aaron, took to wife one of the daughters of Putili, who bore him Phinehas. These are the principal fathers of the Letus and the families. These are Aaron and Moses, to whom the Lord said, Bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt according to their armies. These are that Moses and Aaron, who spoke to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring the children of Israel out of Egypt. When the Lord spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, when the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, I am the Lord, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that I say to you. Moses said to the Lord, Behold, I am of uncircumcised lips, and how shall Pharaoh hear me? The book of Exodus, chapter 7. Then the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I have established you as the God of Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. You shall say all that I have commanded you, and Aaron your brother shall speak to Pharaoh to let the children of Israel go out of his land. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my miracles and wonders in the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh shall not hearken unto thee, that I may stretch forth my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth my armies, that is, my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt, with great deeds. Then the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, when I stretch out my hand over Egypt, and bring the children of Israel out of their land. Moses and Aaron therefore did as the Lord had commanded them, and so they did also. Now Moses was 4.5 years old, and Aaron 4 and 3 years old when they spoke to Pharaoh. The Lord had spoken to Moses and Aaron, saying, if Pharaoh speaks to you, saying, we will perform a miracle for you, you shall say to Aaron, take your rod and throw it before Pharaoh, and it will turn into a snake. Then Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did as the Lord had commanded. Aaron threw his rod before Pharaoh and his servants, and it turned into a snake. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers and the enchanters of Egypt, also did the same with their spells, for they cast every man his rod to the ground, and they turned into serpents. But Aaron made their rods disappear. So Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he did not listen to them, as the Lord had said. The Lord then said to Moses, Pharaoh's heart is stubborn. He refuses to let the people go, and thou shalt go to Pharaoh in the morning. He shall come up out of the water, and thou shalt stand and meet him by the basin of the rivers, and thou shalt take in thy hand the rod that was turned into serpent, and thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, the Lord God of the Hebrews had sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hereto thou hast not heard. Thus saith the Lord, in this thou shalt acknowledge that I am the Lord. Behold, I will strike with the rod that is in my hand the water that is in the river, and it shall turn to blood. The fish that are in the river shall be dyed, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall be forced to drink the water of the river. The Lord then spoke to Moses, saying to Aaron, take your rod and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their streams, over their banks, over their ponds, and over all the pools of their waters. They will turn to blood, and there will be blood in all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and vessels of stone. And Moses and Aaron did as the Lord had commanded, and he lifted up the rod and struck the water that was in the river before the eyes of Pharaoh and his servants, and all the water that was in the river turned to blood. The fish that were in the river became dyed, and the river splintered, so that the Egyptians could not drink the water of the river, and there was blood all over the land of Egypt. The enchanters of Egypt did the same with the spells, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, so that he did not listen to them, as the Lord had said. Then Pharaoh went back to his house, and this fact did not yet enter his heart. Then all the Egyptians dug around the river to find water to drink, because they could not drink from the water of the river. And this continued for about 10 days after the Lord had struck the river. The book of Exodus chapter 8. Then the Lord said to Moses, go unto Pharaoh and say unto him, thus saith the Lord, let my people go, that they may serve me. And if thou wilt not let them go, behold, I will smite all the land with frogs, and the river shall be filled with frogs, which shall enter into thy house, into the chamber where thou sleepest, into thy bed, into the house of the servants, into the people, into thy stoves, and into thy needles. The frogs shall climb upon thee, and upon thy people, and upon all thy servants. The Lord also said to Moses, say to Aaron, stretch out your hand with your rod over the streams, the rivers, and the ponds, and let the frogs climb over the land of Egypt. Then Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and struck the land of Egypt. The sorcerers also did the same with their spells, and brought the frogs upon the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said, pray to the Lord that he may drive away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may sacrifice to the Lord. And Moses said to Pharaoh, concerning me, when I pray for you and for your servants and for your people, command them to remove the frogs from you and from your houses, that they may remain only in the river. Then he said, to die, and he answered, let it be as you have said, that you may also know that there is none like the Lord our God. So the frogs shall depart from you, from your houses, from your servants, and from your people. They shall remain only in the river. Then Moses and Aaron went away from Pharaoh, and Moses cried out to the Lord about the frogs he had sent to Pharaoh. The Lord did as Moses had said, and the frogs died in the houses, towns, and fields. They gathered them in the heaps, and the earth was covered with them. But when Pharaoh heard that he had been granted rest, he hardened his heart and did not listen to them as the Lord had said. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Say to Aaron, stretch out the rod and strike the dust of the ground that it may become sap throughout the land of Egypt." They did so. Aaron stretched out his hand with the rod and struck the dust of the ground, and the sap came on men and beasts. All the dust of the ground became sap in all the land of Egypt. The enchanters also tried with their spells to bring forth the sap, but they failed. So the sap was on man and beast. Then the enchanter said to Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh's heart remained obstinate, and he did not listen to them, as the Lord had said. Moreover, the Lord said to Moses, "Arise early in the morning, present yourself to Pharaoh. Behold, he will come up out of the water, and say to him, Thus says the Lord, let my people go, that they may serve me. And if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and also the land they are. But the land of Goshen, where my people are, I will make it wonderful in that day, so that there shall be no swarms of flies, that you may know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. And I will make a deletion of my people from your people forever. This miracle shall be. And the Lord did so, because great swarms of flies came into Pharaoh's house and into the houses of his servants, so that in all the land of Egypt the land was corrupted by swarms of flies. Then Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said, "Go sacrifice to your God in this land." But Moses replied, "It is not appropriate to do so, for then we would offer to the Lord our God what is abomination to Egyptians. Can we perhaps sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and they will not stone us? Let us go for 3 days into the wilderness and sacrifice to the Lord our God, as he has commanded." Pharaoh said, "I will let you go, that you may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. But do not go far, I pray for me." Moses said, "Behold, I will go out from you and pray to the Lord that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh, his servant, and his people, and die from them. But from now on, Pharaoh shall not deceive himself, nor allow in the people to sacrifice to the Lord." Then Moses turned away from Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord, and the Lord did as Moses had said. And the swarms of flies departed from Pharaoh, his servants, and his people, and not a single one remained. But even then, Pharaoh hardened his heart and did not let the people go. The book of Exodus, chapter 9. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and say to him, Thus says the Lord, God of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. But if you refuse to let him go and still want to keep them, behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thy people, that in the field, for upon the horses and upon the asses and upon the camels and upon the cattle and upon the sheep there shall be a great murrain. The Lord will do wonders between the lands of Israel and the lands of Egypt, so that nothing remains of all that concerns the children of Israel." The Lord set a time, saying, "Until tomorrow the Lord will complete this thing in this land." So the Lord did this thing on the tomorrow, and all the cattle of Egypt were died, but of the cattle of the children of Israel not a single was died. Then Pharaoh sent to say, "Behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelite dead." And Pharaoh's heart was obstinate and would not let the people go. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Take your hands off furnace, ashes," and Moses will sprinkle them upward before Pharaoh, and they shall be turned to dust in all the land of Egypt, and it shall be as crust breaking into blisters upon man and the beast throughout all the land of Egypt. Then they took furnace ash and stood before Pharaoh. Moses sprinkled it over Egypt, and out of it came a scab that blistered on man and beast. The sorcerers could not stand before Moses because of the scale, for the scale was on the enchanters and all the Egyptians. The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not listen to them, as the Lord had told Moses. The Lord also said to Moses, Arise early in the morning, present yourself to Pharaoh, and say to him, Thus says the Lord God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For at this time I will send all my plagues upon your heart, and upon your servants, and upon your people, that you may know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand to smite you and your people with the plague, and you will perish from the earth. And for this I have appointed you, to manifest my power in you and declare my name in all the world. But you exalt yourself against my people and will not let them go. Behold, for the near future I will raise up a great and mighty ship, such as there has not been in Egypt, since its foundation were laid until now. Therefore send together the cattle and all that you have in the fields, for on all the men and the beasts that are in the fields, and have not been brought home, hail will fall on them, and they will die. Those who feared the word of the Lord among Pharaoh's servants made his servants and his cattle flee to the houses. But they that heeded not the word of the Lord left their servants and their cattle in the fields. And the Lord said to Moses, Stretch forth thy hand upward, that there may be hunting in all the land of Egypt, for men and for beasts, and for all the herbs of the field in the land of Egypt. Then Moses stretched out his staff upward, and the Lord sent thunder and hail and lightning upon the land, and the Lord rained hail upon the land of Egypt. So there was hail and fire mingled with the hail, so strong that there was none in all the land of Egypt, since it was a nation. And the hail struck in all the land of Egypt all that was in the field, both men and animals, and the hail also struck all the grasses of the field, and it reduced to pieces all the trees of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail. Then Pharaoh sent for Moses and Aaron and said to them, Now I have sinned. The Lord is righteous, but I and my people are wicked. Pray to the Lord, for it is sufficient, that there be no more loud thunder and hail, and I will let you go, and you shall stay no longer. Then Moses said to him, As soon as I come out of the city, I will squeeze my hands towards the Lord, and the thunder will cease, and there will be no more hail, so that you will know that the land is the Lord's. As for you and your servant, I know that before you pray, you will fear before the face of the Lord God. The flax and the barley were affected, for the barley was gleaned and the flax was boiled, but the wheat and the rail were not struck, for they were hidden in the ground. Then Moses went out of the city to Pharaoh and stretched out his hand toward the Lord, and the thunder and the hail ceased, and it rained no more on the land. When Pharaoh saw that the rain, hail, and thunder had ceased, he sinned again and hardened his heart, both he and his servants. So Pharaoh's heart hardened, and he would not let the children of Israel go, as the Lord has said through Moses. The book of Exodus chapter 10. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the hearts of his servants, to perform these miracles of mine in the midst of his land, and that you may declare in the ears of your son and your sons what I did in Egypt and my miracles that I performed among them, that you may know that I am the Lord. Then Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said to him, Thus says the Lord God of the Hebrews, How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. But if you refuse to let my people go, behold, I will forever bring grasshoppers to your shores. I will cut off the face of the earth, so that man can no longer see the earth, and they will devour the remnant that remains to you, and has escaped the hail, and they will devour all your trees that sprout in the fields, and they shall make a slaughter of thy houses, and of all the houses of thy servants, and of the houses of all the Egyptians, such as neither thy fathers saw from when they were upon the earth until now. So he returned and departed from Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh's servant said to him, How long is this an offense to him? Let the men go, that they may serve the Lord their God. Do you want to know first that Egypt is destroyed? Moses and Aaron were therefore led back to Pharaoh, and he said to them, Go serve the Lord your God, but who are those who will go? Moses answered, We will go with our young men, with our old men, with our sons and with our daughters, with our sheep and with our cattle, for we must celebrate a feast to the Lord. He said to them, May the Lord do so with you as I will let you and your children go. Watch, for Eli is before your face. It shall not be so. Now go, you who are men, to serve the Lord, for this was your desire. Then they were driven out of the Pharaoh's presence. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come to the land of Egypt and eat all the herbs of the land. That is all the grass has left. Then Moses stretched out his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And in the morning the east wind brought the locusts. So the locusts went out throughout all the land of Egypt and remained in all the districts of Egypt. And so severe locusts such as this there had not been any before, nor will there be any after them. For they besieged the whole face of the earth, so that the earth became dark, and devoured all the herbs of the earth, and all the fruit of the trees which the hill had left, so that there remained nothing green on the trees and among the herbs of the fields in all the land of Egypt. Therefore Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron in a haste and said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now forgive my sin just this once, and pray to the Lord your God to remove this death from me just this once. Moses then turned away from Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord. Then the Lord caused a strong west wind to blow, carried away the locusts, and threw them violently into the Red Sea, so that there was not a single locust left in all the coast of Egypt. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not let the children of Israel go. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand upward, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, darkness that can be felt. Then Moses stretched out his hand toward Iwa, and for 3 days there was black darkness all over the land of Egypt. No one saw anything anymore, nor did anyone get up from where they were for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in the place where they lived. And Pharaoh called Moses and said to him, Go serve the Lord, only your sheep and your cattle shall remain, and your sons shall go with you. And Moses said, You must give sacrifice and burnt offering, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. Therefore, our cattle also shall go with us, not one ground shall be left of them, for we must take of them to serve the Lord our God, and we do not know how we shall serve the Lord until we come. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them depart. Pharaoh said to him, Go away from me, look no more on my face, for when you come before me you will die. Then Moses said, You have spoken well. From now on I will no longer see your face. The book of Exodus chapter 11. Now the Lord said to Moses, I will still make a plague on Pharaoh and Egypt. After that he will let you go. When he lets you go, he will drive you out once. Speak now to the people, that every man may require of his neighbor and every woman of her neighbor jewels of silk and jewels of gold. The Lord made the people happy in the eyes of the Egyptians. Moses also was very great in the land of Egypt, in the eyes of Pharaoh's servant and the people. Moses also said, Thus says the Lord, about midnight I will go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sits on the throne, the firstborn of his mother's servant, who stands at the thousand, and all the firstborn of the beast. Then there shall be a great weeping in all the land of Egypt, such as there has not been, nor ever shall be. But none of your children of Israel shall move his tongue against a dog, nor against a man, nor against an animal, that you may know that the Lord has set a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. All these thy servant shall come to me and shall mow down before me, saying, Go away, and all the people that are at thy feet. And after this I will depart. So he departed from Pharaoh very angry. And the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh will not listen to you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not allow the children of Israel to go out of his land. The book of Exodus, chapter 12. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month will be for you the beginning of mourning. This month will be the beginning of mourning for you. It will be the first month of the year for you. Speak to all the community of Israel, saying, In the 10th of this month, let each one take for himself one lamb, according to the house of the fathers, one lamb for a house. And if the house is too small for the lamb, he shall take his neighbors, who is near his house, according to the name of the people, each one of you, according to his eating, shall take the count of the lambs. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male 1 year old. You shall take it from the lambs or from the kids. You shall keep it until the 14th day of this month. Then all the multitude of the congregation of Israel shall kill it at once. Then they shall take the blood and beat it on the 2 posts and on the first post of the house where they shall eat it. The same evening they shall eat the meat browned in the fire, and with vinegar bread. They shall eat it with sown herbs. They shall not eat the meat of it, neither boiled nor dipped in the water, but roasted with fire, both the head and the feet and the limbs. And you shall not keep any of it until the morning, but what remains of it until the evening you shall bury with fire. And you shall eat it with your belt, your shoes on your feet, and you shall staffs in your hands, and you shall eat it in haste, for it is the passing of the Lord. For I will pass through the land of Egypt in the same night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both male and beast, and will do justice to all the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord. The blood shall be a sign to you on the houses where you are. So when I see the blood, I will pass over, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you. When I smite the land of Egypt, these days shall be a memorial for you, and you shall keep it as a holy feast for the Lord for all your generations. For 10 days you shall eat living bread, and in any case you shall eliminate living bread on the first day from your houses. For whoever eats living bread from the first day until the 7th day, that person shall be eliminated from Israel. The 4th day shall be a holy assembly. The 10th day also shall be a holy assembly for you. In them shall no work be done except what each one shall eat. Only this you shall be able to do. You shall also remember the feast of dry loaves, for on that same day I will bring your enemies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe this day for all your prosperity as an ordinance forever. In the first month and on the 14th day of the month of October, you shall eat living bread until the 20th day of the month of August. For 10 days you shall not find living bread in your house. For whosoever shall eat living bread shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. You shall not eat living bread, but in all your dwellings you shall eat living bread. Then Moses called all the elders of Israel, and said to them, Choose and take for each of your houses a lamb, and kill the sheep. Take a bunch of hyssop, dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike his lintel, his hand cheeks with the blood that is in the basin, and let none of you go out from the entrance of his house until the morning. For the Lord will pass by to smite the Egyptians, and when he sees the blood on the lintel and on the 2 cheeks, the Lord will pass over the door, and will not allow the destroyer to enter your house to scourge you. Therefore you shall observe this as an ordinance for you and for your children forever. When you enter the land which the Lord will grant you as he has promised, you shall observe this service. And when your children ask you, what is this service that you keep? You shall say it is the sacrifice of the Lord Passover, who passed before the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he defeated the Egyptians and preserved our houses. Then the people prostrated themselves and worshipped. So the children of Israel went and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So they did. At midnight, the Lord struck all the first bearers in the land of Egypt, from the first bearer of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the first bearer of the captive, who was in the prison, and all the first bearers of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up at night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians. And there was much weeping in Egypt, for there was no house in which there was not a dead person. At night he called Moses and Aaron and said, Get up, come out of my people, you and the children of Israel, and go and serve the Lord as you have said. Take also your sheep and your cattle as you have said, and depart and bless me also. The Egyptians forced the people to leave the land in haste, for they said, We will all die. Therefore the people took the dove before it was leavened and burned it with garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel did as Moses had said. They asked the Egyptians for silken, jewelry, gold, jewelry, and clothing. And the Lord made the people happy in the eyes of the Egyptians, and they granted their request, and thus saw the Egyptians the journey from. Then the children of Israel undertook the journey from Ramses to Succoth, and with about 600,000 men and children. With them departed a great multitude of people of all kinds, with sheep, cattle, and cattle in great abundance. And they baked the dough which they had brought from Egypt, and made leavened cakes of it, for it was not leavened, because they had been driven out of Egypt, and they could neither tarry nor prepare their lives. The journey of the children of Israel in Egypt lasted 430 years. When the 430 years had passed, on the same day the whole army of the Lord departed from the land of Egypt. This is a night for the Lord to keep, because he brought them out of the land of Egypt. This is the night of the Lord, which all the children of Israel are to keep throughout their generation. The Lord also said to Moses and Aaron, This is the night of the Passover. No stranger shall eat it, but the servant bought for money. When you have circumcised him, he shall eat of it. The stranger and the wrathful servant shall not eat of it, and it shall be eaten in one house only. You shall take no meat out of the house, and you shall not break a bone of it. The whole community of Israel shall observe it. But if a stranger dwells near you and wants to observe the passion of the Lord, let him circumcise all the males that belong to him, and then come and observe it. And he shall be like one born in the land, for no uncircumcised shall eat of it. One shall be for him that is born in the land, and for the stranger that will dwell among you. Then all the children of Israel did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So they did. On that same day, the Lord brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt with their army. The book of Exodus, chapter 13. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Sanctify for me all the firstborn, that is, all those who first opened the womb among the children of Israel, both of male and of animals, for it is mine. Then Moses said to the people, Remember this day when you came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, for with a mighty hand the Lord brought you all out from there. Therefore you shall not eat living bread. Today you are going out in the month of Abi, when the Lord has brought you into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, who he had sworn to your fathers to give you, a land rich in milk and honors. You shall do this service in this month. For 7 days you shall eat leavened bread, and the 7th day shall be the feast of the Lord. Living bread shall be eaten for 10 days, and no living bread shall be seen with thee, neither shall living bread be seen with thee in all thy quarters. In that day you shall make a declaration to your son, saying, This has been done because of what the Lord did to me when I came out of Egypt. It shall be for you a sign on your hand and a memorial between your eyes, that the word of the Lord may be in your mouth, because with a strong hand the Lord brought you out of Egypt. Therefore keep this ordinance in its season from year to year, when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Kenyans, as he has sworn to thee and to thy fathers, and shall grant it unto thee. Then thou shalt set aside for the Lord all that openeth first the womb, also everything that openeth first in the womb, and cometh forth out of thy beast. The males shall be the Lord, but all the first loops of donkeys thou shalt redeem with a bleed, and if thou shalt not redeem them, thou shalt break their necks. Likewise all the firstborn of man among thy sons shalt thou remove. And when the son shall ask thee to die, saying, What is this? You shall say unto him, With a mighty hand had the Lord brought forth out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. For when Pharaoh's heart was hard against our going forth, the Lord killed all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of man even to the firstborn of the beast. Therefore I will sacrifice to the Lord all the males that open the woman first, but all the firstborn of my sons I will redeem. And this shall be as a sign upon the Lord, upon thy hand, and as a front between thy eyes, that the Lord hath brought thee out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Now when Pharaoh let the people go, God did not let them pass by the way of the land of the Philistines, even though it was nearer. For God said, Leave the people, seeing the war, repent and return to Egypt. But God caused the people to pass by the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel came out of the land of Egypt armed. And Moses took Joseph's bones with him, for he had made the children of Israel swear that God will visit you, and you shall take my bones away with you. So they set out from Sukkot and encamped at Etham on the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them in a pillar of cloud by day to show them the way, and in a pillar of fire by night to give them light, that they might go both by day and night. He did not remove the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night from the people. The book of Exodus chapter 14. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they may turn back and encamp before Philistro, between Megiddo and the sea, against Balazophon. Towards it you shall approach the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, They have entangled themselves in the land, the wilderness has enclosed them. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he may follow you. So I will make myself honored over Pharaoh and over all his army. Even in the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. So they did. Then it was told to the king of Egypt that the people had fled. The hearts of Pharaoh and his servant turned against the people, and they said, Why did we do this and let Israel go out of our service? Pharaoh prepared his chariot and took his people with him, and took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt, with captains for each of them. For the Lord had hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the children of Israel. But the children of Israel went out with a sure hand. The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariot and his horsemen, and his army surprised them by encamping by the sea near Philistro, opposite Baziphon. And when Pharaoh departed, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes and saw the Egyptians were marching behind them, and they were put to the test. Therefore the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, and they said to Moses, Did you lead them to die in the wilderness because there were no graves in Egypt? Why did you use yourself thus to bring them out of Egypt? Did we not tell you this thing in Egypt, saying, Let us be at hatred, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it was better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. Then Moses said to the people, do not fear. Be still and observe the salvation of the Lord that he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you will not see again. The Lord will fight for you. Therefore be still. The Lord said to Moses, why do you cry out against me? Tell the children of Israel to go forth. Lift up your rod, stretch out your hand over the sea and dissuade it, and let the children of Israel go by land to the middle of the sea. Behold, I will harden the heart of the Egyptians that they may follow them, and I will make myself honorable over Pharaoh and over all his army, over his chariots and over his horsemen. Then the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I have made myself honored over Pharaoh and his chariots and his horsemen. And the angel of the Lord, angel of God, which went before the army of Israel, departed and passed behind them, and the pillar of cloud also passed before them and stood behind them and stood between the army of the Egyptians and the army of Israel. It was a cloud and a darkness that made light at night, so that throughout the night the one did not reach the other. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to recede with a strong east wind all night long, and caused the sea to become a dry land, because the waters had dissolved. Then the children of Israel passed through the waters of the sea on the dry land, and the waters were a wall against them on their right and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and followed them to the waters of the land, and all Pharaoh's horsemen and his chariots and his horsemen. Now in the morning, when the Lord looked upon the army of the Egyptians from the pillar of fire and cloud, he received the army of the Egyptians with fear, for he took away the wheels of the chariots and dragged them with much toil, so that the Egyptians said, I will flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may return on the Egyptians, on their chariots and on their horsemen. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned in the strength earlier in the morning, and the Egyptians fled against it, but the Lord defeated the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And the water returned and struck down the chariots and the horsemen, and all the armies of Pharaoh that had gone into the sea after them. Not one of them remained, but the children of Israel walked in dry land to the middle of the sea, and the waters were a wall against them on their right hand and on their left. So the Lord saved Israel on that same day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the shore of the sea. Israel saw the great power that the Lord had manifested against the Egyptians. So the people feared the Lord and paid homage to the Lord and to his servant Moses. The book of Exodus chapter 15. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord and said, I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and those who rode on it have overturned the sea. The Lord is my strength and my praise, and he has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare a tabernacle for him. He is the God of my fathers, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. His name is Jehovah. He threw Pharaoh's chariot and his army into the sea. Even his chosen captains were drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have filled them. They have run around at the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Lord, is glorious in power. Your right hand, O Lord, has annihilated the enemy. In your great glory, you struck down those who rose up against you. You unleashed your wrath, which consumed them like substance. By the breath of your nostril, the waters have gathered, the floods have stood still as a heap. The bottoms have congealed in the heart of the sea. The adversary said, I will pursue them, I will take them, I will make the sword. My laws shall be satisfied upon them. I will unshield my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Thou hast blown with the wind, the sea hath caressed them. They have remained as leaves in the great waters. Who is like you, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like you, so glorious in holiness, fearful in prayers, performing miracles? You stretch out your right hand, and the earth swallowed them up. By your mercy you healed this people, whom you have filled. By your power you will lead them back to your holy dwelling place. The people will hear and be afraid. Sadness will strike the inhabitants of Palestinians. The dogs of the Edom will be shocked, the great ones of Moab will tremble, and all the inhabitants of Canaan will have weak hearts. Fear and terror shall fall upon them because of the greatness of your weaponry. They shall stand firm as a stone until your people, O Lord, until these people whom you have purchased shall pass away. Thou shalt bring them in and plant them on the mountain of thy inheritance, which is the place thou hast prepared, O Lord, to dwell therein, and the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands shall establish. The Lord shall reign forever. Because Pharaoh's horses went with the chariot and his horsemen into the sea. The Lord brought down the waters of the sea upon them, but the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a tin pan in her hand, and all the women went out after her with tin pan and tongs. Miriam answered the men, Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and its riders have overthrown them into the sea. Then Moses brought Israel out of the Red Sea, and they went into the wilderness of Shur. They went 3 days into the wilderness and found no waters. When they came to Maria, they could not drink of the waters of Maria, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of the place was called Marah. Then the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when it was cast into the waters became sweet. There he made them an ordinance and a law, and there he put them on display, and said, If you, O Israel, would diligently listen to the word of the Lord your God, and do what is right in his sight, if you will pay attention to his commands and keep all his prescriptions, then I will not give you any more of this disease that I gave to the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals. They came to Elim, where there were 2 springs of water and 70 palm trees, and they camped by the waters. The book of Exodus, chapter 16. Then the whole community of the children of Israel departed from Elim and came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sienna, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departure from the land of Egypt. The whole community of the children of Israel mourned against Moses and against Aaron in the wilderness. The children of Israel said to them, Oh, if we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat before the vessels of meat, when we ate bread to our fill, for you have brought out into this wilderness to kill all this community with famine. Then the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from above down upon you, and the people shall go out and gather what is enough for each day, that I may test them whether they will walk in my law or not. But on the 6th day they shall prepare what they shall take home, and it shall be twice as much as they shall gather each day. day. Then Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, at that time you shall know that the Lord has brought you out of the land of Egypt. In the morning you shall see the glory of the Lord, for he has heard your grudges against the Lord, and what are we who have murmured against him? Then Moses said, at that time the Lord will give you meat to eat, and in the morning your loaf of bread, because the Lord has heard your mourning, that you murmur against him, and what are we? Your murmurings are not against you, but against the Lord. Moses said to Aaron, say to all the congregations of the children of Israel, stop before the Lord, for he has heard your murmuring. While Aaron was speaking to the whole community of the children of Israel, they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in a cloud. For the Lord has spoken to Moses, saying, I have heard the mournings of the children of Israel. Tell him, therefore, and say, today you shall eat meat, and tomorrow morning you shall be filled with bread. You shall know that I am the Lord your God. So at dawn the quails came and struck the camp, and in the morning the dew spread around the army. And when the dew that had fallen had gone up, behold, on the face of the wilderness was a little round thing as small as a forest on the earth. When the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, it is man. For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, this is the noodle that the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Gather every man of it according to his consumption, an almond for every man, according to the number of your people. Every man shall take of it for those who are in his tent. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they measured with the almond, he who had gathered much had nothing more, and he who had gathered little had nothing less. So each man gathered according to his consumption. Then Moses said to them, let no one keep any until the morning. Yet they did not obey Moses. But some of them stored it up until morning, and it was full of worms and sticks. Therefore Moses was angry with them. They gathered it every morning, each according to his consumption, for it melted at sunrise. On the sixth day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omen for a man. Then all the leaders of the community came and told Moses. He answered them, this is what the Lord says. Today is the Sabbath. Rest sacred to the Lord. Bake what you will, and bake what you will, and whatever remains, set it aside to keep until tomorrow, until morning for you. They spread it out until morning, as Moses had commanded, and it did not stand, nor was there any sign of it. Then Moses said, eat until the day, for the day is the Sabbath for the Lord. Until the day you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but the 7th day is the Sabbath. In it there shall be none. However, on the 10th day some of the people went out to gather and found nothing. The Lord said to Moses, how long do you refuse to keep my commands and my law? Behold, as the Lord has granted you the Sabbath, so he grants you the bread of the 6th day. For 2 days, let every man rest in his place, and let no one leave his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 10th day. The house of Israel called him man. It was like a coriander seed, but white, and its taste was like that of waters made from bone. Moses said, this is what the Lord has commanded. Fill an omer with it to keep it for your posterity, that they may see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Egypt. Moses also said to Aaron, take a vessel and put it in an oven full of man, and set it before the Lord, that he may preserve it for your posterity. As the Lord had commanded Moses, Aaron placed it before the testimony, that it might be preserved. The children of Israel ate the man for 4 years, until they came to the uninhabited land. They ate the manna until they came to the borders of the land of Canaan. The omen is the 10th part of Ephah. The book of Exodus, chapter 17. The whole community of the children of Israel set out from the wilderness of Sin with the journeys at the command of the Lord and encamped at Rephidim, where there was no water to water the people. Therefore the people quarreled with Moses and said, "Give us water that we may drink." And Moses said to them, "Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you tempt the Lord?" So the people were thirsty for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt, so that we and our children and our livestock would die of thirst?" Then Moses cried out to the Lord, saying, "What shall I do to this people? For they are almost ready to stone me." The Lord answered Moses, "Go before the people and take the elders of Israel with you, and your rod, with which you crush the revolt. Take it in your hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee upon the tower of Horeb. Thou shalt strike upon the tower, and water shall come out of it, that the people may drink." And Moses did so before the elders of Israel. Then he called the place by the name of Mas and Meribah, because of the contention of the children of Israel, and because they had tempted the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among you?" Then Amalek came and fought with Israel at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose men and go and fight with Amalek. For the rest, I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand." Joshua did as Moses commanded him and fought with Amalek. Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. When Moses held his hand up, Israel was saved. But when he left his hand down, Amalek was saved. By now, Moses' hands were in trouble. So they took a stone, put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hand one on one side and the other on the other side. So his hand remained steady until the sun went down. Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. The Lord said to Moses, "Write this as a memorial in the book and let Joshua hear it, for I will definitely wipe out the memory of Amalek from under heaven." Moses built an altar and called it Joshua Nissi, Jehovah Nissi. He also said, "The Lord has sworn that he will make war on Amalek from generation to generation." The book of Exodus, chapter 18. When Jethro, priest of Midian, the father of Moses, heard all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt, then Jethro, Moses' father, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, and his 2 sons, one of whom was called Jerosham, because he said, "I have been a stranger in a foreign land." The other was called Eleazar, because my father's God, he said, helped me and delivered me from Pharaoh's sword. Moses' father-in-law Jethro went with his 2 sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he had encamped by the mouth of Gold. And he said to Moses, "I have come to you, your father-in-law, Jethro, your wife, and her 2 sons with her." And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and did obeisance to him and kissed him, and asked others about his welfare. Then they entered the tent. Then Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians on behalf of Israel, and all the hardship that had befallen them on the way, and how the Lord had delivered them. Jethro rejoiced at all the goodness the Lord had shown Israel, and how he had delivered them out of the hands of the Egyptians. Therefore Jethro said, "Blessed be the Lord who has delivered you from the hands of the Egyptians and from the hands of Pharaoh, who has also delivered the people from under the hands of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods, for as they dealt proudly with them, so they were rewarded." Then Jethro, Moses' father, took burnt offerings and sacrifice to offer to God. And Aaron and all the elders of Israel came and ate bread with Moses' in-law before God. And on the next day, when Moses sat down to judge the people stayed around Moses from morning until noon. And when When Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this that you do to the people? Why do you sit alone and all the people are around you from morning until evening?" Moses said to his father-in-law, "Because the people will come to me to see God. When they have a matter, they come to me and I judge one another and declare God's standard and his laws." But Moses' father-in-law said to him, "The thing you do is not good. You make great trouble for yourself and for these people who are with you, because the thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to do it yourself. Hear now my counsel. I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. Be to the people an intermediary of God, and report the causes to God, and admonish them concerning the rules and laws, showing them the way by which they should walk and the work they should do. Moreover, seek from among all the people courageous men, God-fearing, dealing sincerely, detesting corruption, and appoint them as leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, leaders of fifties, leaders of tens, and let them judge the people at all times. But let them bring every great matter to thee and judge all small causes, so it will be easier for thee. When they bear the burden with thee, if you do so, God commands you to do so, you will be able to bear, and also all these people will go quietly to their place. Moses obeyed his father-in-law's advice and did all that his father-in-law had said. Moses chose from all Israel brave men and appointed them leaders of the people, leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, leaders of fifties, leaders of tens. They judged the people at all times, but they submitted the difficult cases to Moses, for they judged all matters of little importance by themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law leave and went away to his country. The book of Exodus, chapter 19. In the third month, after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Egypt, on the same day they came to the wilderness of Sin, and they departed from Rehidim, and came to the wilderness of Sin, and encamped in the wilderness, and there Israel encamped before the mountain. But Moses went to God, for the Lord had called him from the mountain, saying, "You shall say thus to the house of Jacob, and you shall tell the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I carried you on the eagle's wing, and led you to me. If therefore you will listen to my message and keep my counsel, you will be my chief treasure to all peoples, even as all the earth is mine. You will also be to me a kingdom of priests and holy nation. These are the words you will speak to the children of Israel." Moses then came and called the elders of the people and proposed to them all these things that the Lord had commanded him. The people answered all at once and said, "All that the Lord has commanded we will do." And Moses reported the words of the people to the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I come to you in a thin cloud, that the people may hear as I speak to you, and that they may follow you forever." For Moses had reported the words of the people to the Lord. Moreover, the Lord said to Moses, "Go to the people and sanctify the day and the night, and let them wash their clothes, and keep them ready on the third day. For on the 13th day the Lord will come down to Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people. You shall make signs to the people all around, saying, 'Take heed to yourself, lest you go to the mountain and touch its borders.' Whoever touches the mountain shall surely die. No hand shall touch him, but he shall be stoned or pierced with darts, whether animals or men. He shall not lie. When the horn blows at length, they shall enter the mountain." Then Moses came down from the mountain to the people, sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. Then he said to the people, "Be ready on the third day, and do not come secretly." And on the 13th day, when it was morning, there was thunder and lightning, and a thin cloud on the mountain, and a very loud sound of a trumpet, so that all the people who were encamped departed. Then Moses brought the people out of their tents to meet with God, and they stood at the lower part of the mountain, and Mount Sinai was all in smoke, because the Lord had come down upon it with fire, and its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain trembled greatly. And when the sound of the trumpet blew long and became louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him with a voice For the Lord came down to Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain. And when the Lord called Moses to go up to the top of the mountain, Moses went up there. Then the Lord said to Moses, go down and instruct the people not to violate their borders, to go and contemplate the Lord. Otherwise, many of them will perish. And let the priests who also go to the Lord be sanctified, otherwise the Lord will destroy them. Moses said to the Lord, the people cannot go up Mount Zion, because you instructed them to say, put signs on the mountain and sanctify it. The Lord said to him, go, descend and come, you and Aaron with you, but let not the priests and the people violate their borders to come to the Lord, or he will destroy them. Moses therefore went to the people and said to them. The book of Exodus chapter 20. Then God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself any image of bronze, nor any likeness of the things that are in heaven, nor of the things that are on earth beneath, nor of the things that are in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy God, an unrighteous God, whom bringeth the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, upon the third generation and upon the fourth generation of them that hate me, and who is pleased with thousands who love me and keep my commands. Do not use the name of the Lord your God in vilification, for the Lord will not hold guilty those who use his name in vilification. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall work and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it shall do no work, neither you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your servant, nor your wife, nor your beast, nor your stranger that is within your gate. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and sanctified it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be prolonged in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not steal your neighbor's house, nor your neighbor's wife, nor your neighbor's servant, nor your neighbor's ox, nor your neighbor's plank, nor anything that is your neighbor's. And all the people saw the thunder and the lightning and the sound of the trumpet and the smoke of the mountain. And when the people saw it, they fled and departed. And they said to Moses, speak with the voice and we will listen, but do not allow God to speak with the voice or we will die. Then Moses said to the people, do not fear, for God has come to test you, and that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin. The people went away, but Moses approached the darkness where God was. And the Lord said to Moses, you shall thus say to the children of Israel, you have seen that I have spoken to you from above. Therefore you shall not make for yourself within me gods of silk, nor gods of gold. You shall not make for yourself any. You shall make an altar of the earth for me. And there you shall offer your burnt offering and your peace offering, your sheep and your oxen, in all places where I will put the remembrance of my name. I will come to you and bless you. But if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not buy it of hard stone. For if thou lift up thy rod upon them, thou hast polluted them. And thou shalt not go by the path to my altar, lest thy fleetfulness be scattered there. The book of Exodus chapter 21. These are the laws you shall establish before them. If thou takest a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and at the seventh he shall go out free, paying nothing. If he came alone, he shall go out alone. If he is married, his wife shall go with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she has given him sons or daughters. His wife and her children shall be his masters, but he shall go out alone. But if the servant says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall take him to the judges and put him to the stake or post, and his master shall pierce his ear with a ribbon and serve him all his life. Likewise, if a man sells his daughter to make her a maid servant, she shall not go out as servants do. If she does not please her master, who has betrothed her to himself, he will buy her. He cannot sell her to strangers, because he has despised her. But if he has betrothed her to his son, he shall deal with her according to the rules of daughters. If he takes another wife, he shall not diminish her food, the reward and recompense of her virginity. If he does not do these three things to her, she shall go free, paying nothing. Whoever strikes a man and he dies, he shall die. If a man has not found a way out, but God has offered it into his hand, I will show you a place where he may escape. But if a man presumptuously rushes upon his neighbors to kill him by deceit, you shall remove him from my altar, that he may die. He also who strikes his father or his mother shall die. Whoever steals a man and sells him, if he is found with him, he shall die of death. Whoever curses his father or his mother shall die of death. When men undress together and one strikes another with a stone or with a fix, and he does not die, but lies in the bed, if he rises again and walks without holding on to his staff, he who struck him shall go quietly, for he alone shall bear the expense of his rest and pay for his recovery. If one strikes his servant or maidservant with a rod and they die under his hand, he shall surely be punished. But if he continues a day or 2 days, he shall not be punished, for it is his money. Moreover, if a man stripes and wounds a woman with a child, so that the child departs from her, and death does not follow him, he shall surely be punished according to what the woman's husband appeals to him, or he shall pay according to what the judge determines. But if death follows, you shall pay life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, leaf for leaf, bone for bone, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. If one strikes his servant in the eye or his master in the eye and kills him, he shall let him lose by the eye. And if he strikes his servant's tooth to his woman's tooth, he shall let him go free for his tooth. If an ox maluse a man or a woman and dies, the ox shall be stoned and its flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall go in peace. If the ox used to push in the past and it was entrusted to its master, and the master did not restrain it, and after it has killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned and its master shall also die. If a sum of money is set upon him, he shall pay the price of his wife, that which shall be set upon him. Whether he has got a son or a daughter, he shall be judged in the same way. If the ox maluse a servant or an elder, he shall give his master 3 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. When a man opens a pit or digs a pit and does not close it, and an ox or an axe falls into it, the owner of the pit shall repay it and give money to the owners, but the dead beast shall be his. And if a man's ox wound his neighbor's ox, causing it to die, they shall select the dead ox and give the money due to him, and the dead ox shall also be paid. Then, if it is known that the ox is in the past has pushed and its owner has not kept it, he shall pay ox for ox, but the dead ox shall be his property. The book of Exodus, chapter 22. If anyone steals an ox or a ram and kills or sells it, he shall return 5 oxen for the ox and 4 rams for the ram. If a thief is found breaking and is struck that he may die, no blood shall be shed for him. But if he is in the daylight, blood shall be shed for him, for he must return everything. If he has none, he must be compensated for his theft. If theft is found with him, Others, whether oxen or donkeys or sheep, shall return double. If a man damages a field or a vineyard and put his beast to graze in someone else's field, he shall return the beast of his field and the best of his vineyard. If fire breaks out and creeps among the thorns and the stakes of the grain or standing grain or the field are consumed, he who set the fire shall return everything. If a man delivers money or stuff to his neighbor for safe keeping, and it is stolen from his house, if the thief is found, he shall pay double. If the thief is not found, the householder shall be brought before the judges to declare whether he laid his hand on his neighbor's property or not. In all cases of theft, whether of oxen, axes, sheep, clothing, or any other lost thing that another claims as his own, the case of both parties shall be brought before the judges. And he who is condemned by the judges shall pay double to his neighbor. If a man entrusts his neighbor with the custody of a plank, ox, sheep, or any animal, and it dies or is wounded or carried away by enemies, and no one seeks it, another thing of the Lord shall be between the two who has not laid his hand on the good of his neighbor. And the owner shall take the other thing, and shall not make it good. But if it is taken from him, he shall return it to the owner. If it is torn in pieces, he shall give an account of it, and shall not make it good. If a man borrows anything from his neighbor, and it is injured or dies without the owner being present, he shall make good the loss. If the owner is at home, he shall not be able to make good. For if it is a thing hired, it came for his hire. If a man seduces an unbridled woman and lies with her, he must give her away and take her as a wife. If her father refuses to give her to him in marriage, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. You shall not allow a witch to live. Whoever lies with a beast shall die a death. He who makes offering to other gods, but only to the Lord, shall be killed. Moreover, you shall not do violence to the stranger or oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not trouble any widow or fatherless child. If you disturb such a one, and he calls and cries out to me, I will hear his cry. Then my anger will be kindled, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives will be widows, and your children orphans. If you lend money to my people, that is to the poor who is with you, you will not be like a moneylender to him. You will not oppress him with violence. If you take your neighbor's money as a pledge, you shall return it to him before the sun goes down. For this is the only blanket, and this is his garment for his skin. Where shall he sleep? Therefore, when he cries unto me, I will hear him, for I am merciful. You shall not be angry with the judges, nor shall you speak evil of the leader of your people. Your abundance and your wealth will not hold you back. The firstborn of your children you will give to me. The same you shall do with your oxen and with your sheep. 10 days he shall be with his damning, and on the 8th day you shall give him to me. You shall be a holy people to me, and you shall not eat any meat that has been eaten in the field. You shall throw it to the dogs. The book of Exodus, chapter 23. Thou shalt not receive a false tale, nor shalt thou go with the wicked to be a false witness. You will not follow a multitude to do evil, nor will you agree in a dispute to decline the truth after many. You shall not esteem a poor man in his house, in his cause. If you meet your enemy's ox or his plank that goes astray, you shall bring it back to him. If you see your enemy's horse lying under his burden, will you stop helping him? You will help him again with it. Thou shalt not take away thy poor man's right in his bottom. You will keep away from every false matter, and you will not trample down the innocent and righteous. For I will not justify the wicked. You shall not take any gift, for gift blinds the wise and perturbs the words of the righteous. You shall not oppress the stranger, for you know the heart of the stranger, since you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Moreover, for 6 years you shall sow your land and reap its fruit. But in the seventh year thou shalt let interest and rest, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave may be eaten by the beasts of the field. Likewise you shall do with your vineyard and with your olive trees. 6 days shalt thou do the work, and on the seventh day shalt thou rest, that thy ox and thy horse may rest, and the mother's son and the stranger may be refreshed. You shall pay attention to all the things I have told you. You shall not mention the name of other gods or hear it from your own mouth. 3 times you shall make a feast in my honor during the year, the feast of unleavened bread. You shall eat unleavened bread for 7 days as I commanded you, in the time of the month of Abib, because in it you came out of Egypt, and no one shall stand before me empty. The feast of the gathering of the first fruit of thy labor, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of the gathering of the fruits at the end of the year, when thou hast gathered thy labors from the fields. For these 3 times in the year all your male children shall stand before the Lord Jehovah. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. You shall bring into the house of the Lord your God the first fruits of your land, but you shall not see a kid in its mother's milk. Behold, I am sending an angel before you to guide you on the way and to lead you to the place I have prepared. Beware of him and hearken to his voice, and do not scruple, for he will not spare your misdeed, for in him is my name. But if you will listen to his message and do all that I tell you, I will be an enemy to your enemies and afflict those who afflict you. For my angel will go before you and lead you to the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Kenites, the Lutis, and the Jebusites, and I will destroy them. You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor act like them, but you shall destroy them and tear their images to pieces. For you shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I will remove all sickness from your belly. No one shall cast his fruit or be born in your land. The number of your days I will fulfill. I will send my fear before you, and I will destroy all the peoples among whom you go, and I will cause all your enemies to turn their backs upon you, and I will send bubble bees before thee, which shall drive out the Houthis, the Canaanites, and the Hittites from thy face. I will not drive them out of thy face in a single year, except when the land shall become a wilderness, and the beasts of the field shall multiply against thee. Little by little I will drive them out of your face, until you grow up and inherit the land. I will make thy coast from the Red Sea into the sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into thy hand. I will drive them out of thy face. You shall make no covenant with them or with their gods. They shall not dwell in thy land, unless they cause thee to sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it shall be thy destruction. The book of Exodus, chapter 24. Now he said to Moses, Come to the Lord, you, Aaron, Nadab, and Abiram, and several other elders of Israel, and worship far away. Moses alone will approach the Lord, but they will not approach, and the people will not go with him. Then Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the laws, and all the people answered in unison, and said, all that the Lord has said we would do. And Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord, and rose early and built an altar under the mountain and two pillars according to the two tribes of Israel. Then he sent young men from among the children of Israel, who offered burnt offering and peace offering to the Lord. Moses took half the blood, put it in basins, and have the blood he sprinkled on the altar. After he took the book of the covenant, he read it before the people, who said, everything the Lord has said we would do and be obedient. Then Moses took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said, here is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you concerning all these things. Then Moses and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and two of the elders of Israel went, and they saw the God of Israel, and under his feet was like a stone of sapphire, and like the sky when it is clear. And on the nobles of the children of Israel he did not stretch out his hand. They too said, God, and ate and drank. And the Lord said to Moses, come to me on the mountain and stay there. I will give you the tables of stones, the law and the command that I have written to teach them. Then Moses arose together with his minister Joshua, and Moses went to the mount of God and said to the elders, stay here until we return to you. And behold, Aaron and who are with you, whoever has any problem, come to them. Then Moses went up the mountain, and the cloud enveloped the mountain. The glory of the Lord remained on Mount Sinai, and the cloud enveloped it for 6 days. On the seventh day he called Moses from the midst of the cloud. The sight of the glory of the Lord was the consuming fire on the top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and ascended the mountain. And Moses remained on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. The book of Exodus chapter 25. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, that they may receive an offering for me. Of every man whose heart freely permits it, you shall take the offering for me. This is the offering you shall take from them: gold, silk, and reed, white silk, purple, sea skin, fine linen and sea goat, ram skin, dyed red, badger skin, and wood of shittim, oil for light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet oil perfume, stones of ox, and stones of sect in the ephod and in the breastplate. They shall also make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. According to all that I have taught you, you will also make the form of the tabernacle and the front of all its instruments. You will also make an ark of shittim wood, 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. You shall clothe it with pure gold inside and out, and make on it a crown of gold all round. You shall make for it 4 rings of gold, and put them on its 4 corners, that is 2 rings on one side and 2 on the other. You shall make slates of shittim wood, and plaster them with gold. Then you shall put the rods in the rings on the sides of the ark, to support the ark with them. The rods shall remain in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken out of it. So you shall put in the ark the testimony that I will give you. You shall also make a mercy table of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half long, and 1 cubit and a half wide. Thou shalt make 2 cherubim of bronze of wood, beaten with a hammer, at both ends of the mercy seat. You shall make a cherubim at one end and the other cherubim at the other end, with the matter of the mercy seat. You shall make the cherubim at the 2 ends, and the cherubim shall spread their wings over them, caressing with their wings the seat of mercy, and their faces towards each other. Towards the seat of mercy shall be the faces of the cherubim. And thou shalt put the mercy seat over the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee, and there I will declare myself to you, and from above the mercy seat between the 2 cherubim that are on the ark of the testimony, I will tell you all the things that I will give you to command the children of Israel. You shall also make a table of shittim wood, 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and 1.5 cubits high. Thou shalt clothe it with pure gold, and make a crown of gold round about it. Thou shalt also make a border of 4 fingers round about it, and shalt make a crown of gold round about the border. Then you shall make it 4 rings of bronze, and put them on the 4 corners that are at the 4 feet of the monument. Toward the edge, the rings shall be the places of the rods to support the table, and thou shalt make the slate of shittim wood, and thou shalt adorn them with gold, that the table may be carried with them. You shall also make plates for the table, and cups for incense, and cup for the table, and globet for the table, again of fine gold. And you shall continually put bread on the table before me. You shall also make a candlestick of pure gold. The candlestick shall be made of wood beaten with a hammer, with its shaft, its branches, its bullies, its nuts, and its flaws shall be the same material. Out of the sides shall come also 6 bullies, 3 branches of the candlestick on one side, and 3 branches of the candlesticks on the other side. 3 armored-like bullies, a bright and a leaf in one branch, and 3 armored bullies in the other branch, a big, bright and a leaf. So for all the 6 branches that come out of the candlesticks, and in the shaft of the candlestick, there shall be 4 armored like bullies, with its nuts and flakes, and there shall be a knot under 2 branches, and a knot under 2 branches, and a knot under 2 branches, according to the 6 branches that come out of the candlesticks. Their knots and the branches shall be part of it. All this shall be one beaten piece of pure gold. You shall make the 7 lamps of these candlesticks, and you shall put lamps on it to make light for that which is in front. Its snuff and snuff boxes also shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of fine gold you shall make him with all these instruments. See therefore that you make them according to their appearance, which was shown to you in the mountains. The book of Exodus chapter 26. Then you shall make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twisted linen, of snow white silk, of purple, and of leather, and in them you shall make cherubim of brocade wood. The length of a curtain shall be 28 cubits, and the width of a curtain 4 cubits. Each curtain shall have a measure. 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make cords of blown silk on the hem of the first curtain, which is in the margin of the coupling, and the same shalt thou make on the hem of the other curtain in the margin in the second coupling. And thou shalt make 50 cords in one curtain, and 50 cords in the hem of the curtain that is in the second coupling, and the cords shall be opposite one another. You shall also make 50 notches of gold, and you shall couple the curtains to each other with the notches, and it shall be one tabernacle. You shall also make golden curtains of goats, which shall serve as a covering for the tabernacle. You shall make them 11 curtains in number. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits. The curtains shall be of one measure. You shall make 5 curtains for themselves, and 6 curtains for themselves. But you shall double the 6th curtain on the front of the robe. And you shall make 50 curtains in the edge of one curtain at the edge of the martin, and 50 curtains in the edge of the other curtain in the second mating. In the same way you shall make 50 cords of cord, fasten them to the cords, and join the coupling so that it's one. The remainder that remains in the curtains of the wrapping, that is half of the curtain at the wrapping, that is half of the curtain, remains shall be left on the back side of the tabernacle, in order that the cubit on one side and the cubit on the other of what is left in the legs of the curtains of the account may remain on either side of the tabernacle to repair it. Moreover, for this covering thou shalt make a covering of dead ram skin of red, and covering of badger skin on the outside. Moreover, for the tabernacle you shall make planks of shittim wood to stand on. 10 cubits shall be the length of a plank, and a cubit and a half cubit the width of a plank. In one plank there shall be 2 tenons, arranged like the feet of a ladder, one against the other. So shalt thou do for all the boards of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle, that is 20 boards from the south side, all to the south. You shall make 40 sockets of silk under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for each 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for each 2 tenons. Likewise on the other side of the tabernacle, towards the north side, there shall be 25 boards, and there are 4 boards of silk, 2 boards under one board, and 2 boards under another board. On this side of the tabernacle towards the west you shall make 6 boards. You shall also make 2 boards at the corners of the tabernacle. On the 2 sides thou shalt also make them underneath, and thou shalt also make them round about a ring. So shall it be for these 2. They shall be for you 2 corners. Then shall be 8 boards with sockets of silk, that is 6 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. You shall make 5 seals of shittim wood for the boards on one side of the tabernacle, and 5 seals for the boards on the other side of the tabernacle. Also 5 seals for the boards on the side of the tabernacle towards the west. The middle road shall pass through the center of the boards, from one end to the other. And thou shalt make the boards of gold, and shalt make their rings of gold, as places for the slits, and shalt make the slits of gold. Thus you shall rebuild the tabernacle according to its structure, which was shown to you on the mount. You shall also make a veil of light silk, of purple, of skins, and of fine twisted linen. You shall make it of red wood with cherubim. You shall hang it on 4 pillars of shittim wood, covered with gold, whose hook shall be of gold, and fastened to the 4 sockets of silver. Then you shall hang the tray on the hooks to introduce into it. Within the tray, the ark of the testimony. The tray shall be your separation between the holy place and the most holy place. You shall also put a mercy seat on the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. You shall put the table without the vault and candlestick in front of the table in the south side of the tabernacle, and you shall put the table in the north side. You shall also make a cloth for the covering of the tabernacle of blown silk, of purple, of charlon skins, and of the fine lining fine twisted and worked with the needle. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim, and cast them of gold. Their heads shall be of gold, and thou shalt cast 5 brazen sockets thereon. The book of Exodus, chapter 27. Moreover, thou shalt make the altar of wood shittim, 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. The altar shall be square and 3 cubits high. You shall make him horns at the 4 corners. The horns shall be of themselves, and you shall clothe them with brass. Thou shalt also make his scenarios for ashes, his besom, his basins, his hooks for meat, and his censer. Thou shalt make all his instruments of brazy. Thou shalt make therein in lattice, like a net of reeds. Moreover, on these lattice thou shalt make 4 rings of bronze at its 4 corners. You shall put it under the structure of the altar, so that the lattice shall be in the center of the altar. You shall also make splits for the altar, splits, I say, of shittim wood, and you shall have them sewn with the braces, and its bars shall be inserted into the rings, which bars shall be placed on either side of the altar to support it. You shall make the altar of wood between the boards, as God showed you on the mountain, so shall they make it. You shall also make the courtyard of the tabernacle on the south side, that is, all to the south. The courtyard shall have curtains of finely woven linen, 100 cubits long on one side, and it shall have 20 pillars with 20 bases of reeds. The heads of the pillars and their fleet shall be of silk. Likewise on the north side there shall be a curtain 150 cubits long, with its 20 pillars and their 20 bases of wood. The heads of the pillars and their filets shall be of silk. The width of the curtain on the west side shall have curtains 50 cubits long, with therein columns and 10 sockets. The width of the courtyard from east to east shall have 50 cubits. Moreover, on one side there shall be vestment of 50 cubits with their 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. Likewise, on the other side there shall be curtains of 50 cubits with their 3 pillars and their 3 bases. In the gate of the courtyard there shall be a vault of 25 cubits of white silk, purple, scarlet, and linen finely twisted and needle worked, with its 4 pillars and their 4 sockets. All the columns of the courtyard shall have silk filled all around with their head of silk and their socket of brass. The length of the courtyard shall be 100 cubits, the width 50 on either side, and the height 5 cubits. The vestment shall be of fine twined linen, and the socket of braces. All the utensils of the tabernacle for its service, all its pinnacles, and all the pinnacles of the court shall be of braces. And thou shalt command the children of Israel to bring thee pure beaten olive oil for light, that the lamps may be always burning. In the tabernacle of congregation without the wall, which is before the testimony. Aaron and his sons shall prepare them from evening to morning before the Lord, as a salute for all their generation, to be observed by the children of Israel. The book of Exodus chapter 28. Thou shalt cause thy brother Aaron and his sons with him to come to thee from among the children of Israel, that he may serve me in the priestly office. I appoint Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Itamar, Aaron's sons. Moreover, thou shalt make holy garment for Aaron thy brother, glorious and beautiful. Therefore you shall speak to all the wise men, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garment to consecrate him, that he may serve me in the priestly office. This shall be the garment that they shall make: a breastplate, an ephod, a robe, a cloak of wool, a mitre, and agreed. Therefore they shall take gold and a puffed silk and the purple and seal skins and fine linen, and they shall make the ephod of gold, of white silk, of purple, of scarlet, and of fine twined linen, with brogue work. Its two shoulders shall be joined by the two edges, so it shall be closed. And the garniture of the same ephod, which shall be put on him, shall be of the same workmanship, and of the same stuffing, purple of skins, or of fine twined linen. You shall take 2 onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the children of Israel, 6 names of them on the first stone, and 6 names that remain on the second stone, according to their generations. You shall have the 2 stones engraved according to the names of the children of Israel by a seal engraver, who works and engraves stones, and you shall have them set embossed in gold. You shall place the 2 stones of the shoulders of ephod as stones of remembrance of the children of Israel. For Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord on his 2 shoulders, as a reminder. You shall then make garments of gold, and 2 shekels of fine gold at the end of worked wood, and you shall fasten the worked shekels on the garment. And thou shalt also make the plate of the Christ of judgment with stuck work like that of ephod. Thou shalt make it of gold, and of white silk, and of purple, and of leather, and of fine twined linen. It shall be square and double, 1 hand long and 1 hand wide. Then you shall make it full of places for stones, that is, 4 rows of stones. The order shall be this: a ruby, a topzer, and a cumbercle in the first row. In the second row you shall place an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. In the third row a turquoise, an achat, and a hemat. And in the fourth wheel a chrysolite, an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their setting, and the stones shall be according to the names of the children of Israel, 2 according to their names as seals, each according to its name, and they shall be for the 2 tribes. Then you shall make on the breastplate 2 chicks at the ends, worked of pure gold. You shall also make on the breastplate 2 rings of gold, and you shall put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. You shall put the 2 wedges of gold in the 2 rings at the ends of the breastplate, and the other 2 ends of the 2 silver wedges thou shalt fasten in 2 incisions, and thou shalt put them on the shoulders of the ephod on the front side, and thou shalt also make 2 rings of gold, which thou shalt put on the other ends of the breastplate, on its edge, towards the inside of the ephod. And thou shalt make 2 more rings of gold, and thou shalt put them on the 2 sides of the ephod, under the front and against the coupling of the ephod, on the back of the each ephod. Then thou shalt bind the breastplate by its ring to the rings of the ephod with a lace of light silk, that it may be fastened on the iron covering of the ephod, and the breastplate may not come off the ephod. So Aaron shall bear on his heart the names of the children of Israel in the judgment plate, when it enters the holy place, to remember them continually before the Lord. You shall also put the vame and the tumim, which shall be on Aaron's heart, when he enters the holy place in the judgment place, and Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel on the heart before the Lord as a continual reminder. You shall make ephod robe completely of white silk. The whole for his head shall be in the center, with a border of wool around the collar. It shall be like the collar of a meningra that does not open. And under her skirt thou shalt make pomegranates of puff skin, of purple, and tights round about her skirt, and bells of gold between them all round about, that the bell of gold and a pomegranate, and a bell of gold and a pomegranate round about the skirt of the robe. So shall it be for Aaron when he ministers, and the sound thereof shall be heard when he enters into the holy place before the Lord, and when he comes out, and shall not be dyed. You shall also make a plate of pure gold, and engrave on it, as seals are engraved, the shrines of the Lord. And thou shalt put it on a fleece of brown silk, and place it on the mitre and on the front of the mitre. So it shall be on Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the offerings which the children of Israel shall offer in all their holy offering, and it shall always be on their forehead, to make the acceptable to the Lord. Likewise, thou shalt embroider the mantle of fine thread, and shalt make a mitre of fine thread, but thou shalt also make a girdle of needle. You shall also make cloth for the sons of Aaron, and you shall make belts of them, and cups of them, for glory and fame, and thou shalt put them on Aaron thy brother, and on his sons with him, and thou shalt anoint them, and fill their hands, and sanctify them, that they may exercise the priestly ministry with me. You shall also make them linen breast chest to cover their functions, from the loins to the thighs. They shall belong. They shall be for Aaron and his sons of when they enter the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they go to the altar to officiate in the holy place, that they may not commit iniquity and die. This will be an obligation for him and his descendants. The book of Exodus, chapter 29. When you consecrate them to be my priests, you shall also do this. Take 1 young calf and 2 rams without blemish, and bread and cakes, leavened and tempered with oil, and wafers, leavened and anointed with oil. Of fine grain you shall make them. Then you shall put them in a basket, and present them in the basket with the calf and the 2 branches. Then you shall lead Aaron and his son to the entrance of the tabernacle of meeting, and wash them with water. You shall also take their garments, and you shall put Aaron's tunic, ephod's robe, and ephod's breastplate, and you shall fasten them to him. with the brocade sheet of ephod. Then you shall put the mitre on his head, and you shall put the holy horn on his mitre. Then thou shalt take the oil of anointing, and thou shalt give him power over his head, and thou shalt anoint him. You shall bring his son and put cloaks on them. Thou shalt gird them with shirt, both Aaron and his sons, and put on their caps, and the priestly office shall be theirs forever. Thou shalt also feel Aaron's hands, and the hands of his sons. Then you shall present the calf before the tabernacle of the congregation, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands on the head of the calf. You shall thus kill the calf before the Lord at the threshold of the tabernacle of meeting. Then you shall take the blood of the calf, put it with your finger on the horns of the altar, and sprinkle the rest of the blood on the base of the altar. You shall also take all the fat that is inside, the meat that is on the liver, the two kids and the fat that is on them, and you shall bury them on the altar. But the flesh of the calf, its skin and head, you shall burn with fire without the altar. It is a sinful offense. You shall also take a ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the ram's head. Then you shall kill the ram, take its blood, and sprinkle it all around the altar. You shall cut the ram into pieces, wash its entrails and legs, and put them on the pieces and on its head. Then you shall bury the whole ram on the altar, for it is a burnt offering to the Lord for a sweet smell. It is an offering made by the fire to the Lord. You shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands on the ram's head. Then you shall kill the ram and take its blood and put it on the lip of Aaron's ear, on the lip of his son's right ear, on the thumb of their right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot. And you shall sprinkle the blood on the altar all around. And thou shalt take the blood that is on the altar and the oil of anointing, and thou shalt sprinkle it on Aaron and on his garments, and on his sons, and on the garment of his sons with him. So he shall be halved, and his garment, and his sons, and the garment of his sons with him. And thou shalt take also from the remnants the fat and the rumple that is, the fat that is within, and the skin of the streak, and two kids, and the fat that is upon them, and the right shoulder, for it is the remnant of the consecration, and a loaf of bread, a cake of bread tempered with oil, and a wafer from the basket of seasoned loaf that is before the Lord. You shall put all this into the hands of Aaron and into the hands of his sons, and you shall shake them on either side before the Lord. Then you shall take them out of their hands and bury them on the altar, as well as the burnt offering, as a sweet fragrance before the Lord. For this is an offering made by fire to the Lord. Likewise you shall take the crest of the ram of consecration, which is for Aaron, and you shall shake it on either side before the Lord, and it shall be your portion. You shall sanctify the crest of the shaking offering, and the shoulder of the salvation offering, shaken on either side of the ram of the consecration, which was for Aaron and his sons. Aaron and his sons shall keep it by statute for all the children of Israel, for it is a salvation offering, and shall be a salvation offering for the children of Israel, one of the peace offerings, and a salvation offering for the Lord. The sacred garment which belonged to Aaron shall be of his sons after him, to be anointed therein and to be consecrated therein. The son who is to be priest in his robe shall wear them on the 7 days when he enters the tent of meeting to officiate in the holy place. So you shall take the ram of consecration and put his flesh in the holy place. And Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket at the entrance to the tabernacle of the congregation. So they shall eat these things with which their atonement was made, to consecrate and sanctify them. But an outsider shall not eat of them, for they are holy things. If of the meat of the consecration or the bread anything remains until the morning, you shall burn the rest with fire. You shall not eat it, for it is a holy thing. And and thou shalt do so with Aaron and with his sons, according to all that I have commanded thee. Thou shalt consecrate them 10 days, and thou shalt offer a calf every day as a sin offering for reconciliation, and thou shalt cleanse the altar. When thou hast offered on it for reconciliation, and thou shalt dry it for sanctification, and every second day thou shalt cleanse the altar and sanctify it, so that the altar shall be most holy, and that which toucheth the altar shall be holy. This is what you shall present on the altar: 2 lambs of a year, day by day, continually. 1 lamb you shall present in the morning, and the other you shall present at noon. And with the 1 lamb, a 10th part of the fine flour mixed with the 4th part of a hin of crushed oil, and the 4th part of a hin of wine for a drinking offering. The other blade you shall present at mealtime. You shall make it according to the offense of the morning, and according to the offense of the appetizer, as a burnt offense, and as a sweet offering to the Lord. This shall be a continual burning for your generation in the place of the tabernacle of meeting before the Lord, where I will apprehend to speak with you. There I will lean on the children of Israel, and the place will be sanctified by my glory. And I will sanctify the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar. I will also sanctify Aaron and his sons as my priests, and I will dwell among the children of Israel, and I will be their God. Then they shall know that I am the Lord their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt to dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. The book of Exodus chapter 30. You shall also make an altar for perfume of shittim wood. Its length shall be 1 cubit, its width 1 cubit. It shall be 4 squares, and its height 2 cubits. Its horn shall be of the same material. You shall clothe it with fine gold, both its top and its sides, all around, and its horns. You shall also make it a crown of gold all around. Moreover, thou shalt make under this crown 2 rings of gold on one side and on the other, and on each side thou shalt make them, that they may be set for the shanks with which thou shalt bear it. And the shanks thou shalt make of wood of shittim, and thou shalt cast them with gold. Then you shall place it in front of the sailing ship that is here near the ark of the testimony, in front of the mesete that is above the testimony, where I will lean on you. Aaron shall bury fragrant incense there every morning. When he clothes the lamp with it, he shall bury it. In the same way, every evening, when Aaron puts on his lamps, he will bury incense in it. This fragrance will remain eternally before the Lord for all your generations. You shall not offer you foreign incense, nor burn sacrifices, nor spoils, nor shall you sprinkle any alcohol drink upon it. Aaron shall make reconciliation on the horns of it once a year with the blood of the sin offering. In the day of the reconciliation once a year he shall make reconciliation on it for all your generation. This is most holy to the Lord. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, When thou shalt make the sum of the children of Israel according to their name, they shall give every man a ransom of his life unto the Lord. When thou shalt tell them that there is no plague among them, when thou hast counted them, every man who enters the number shall give half of a shekel, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is equal to 25 gerah. Half of the shekel shall be an offering to the Lord. Everyone with a name from the age of 20 years and upward shall give an offering to the Lord. The rich shall not pass away, and the poor shall not diminish by half a shekel. When you give an offering to the Lord for the redemption of your possession, so you shall take the money of the redemption of the children of Israel and put it in the bowls of the tabernacle of the congregation, that it may be be a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord, for the redemption of your burdens. The Lord also spoke to Moses, saying, You shall also make a leaf of brush and its parts of a brush for washing. You shall put it between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and you shall put water in it. For Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and feet there when they go into the tabernacle of congregation, or when they go to the altar to officiate and to make the fragrance of your burning to the Lord. They shall wash themselves with water, lest they die. So they shall wash their hands and their feet, lest they die. And this shall be an ordinance for them forever, both for him and for his descendants, for all the generations. The Lord also spoke to Moses, saying, Thou shalt also of the chief spice of myrrh, most pure, 50 shekels of sweet simonia, half that is 250, and of sweet calmos 250, also of cassia 55 cents, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, and of olive oil a hin. And thou shalt make of it an oil of holy wineskin, that is, an oil most precious according to the art of the apothecary. This shall be the oil of holy wineskin. With it thou shalt anoint the tabernacle of the congregation and the ark of the testimony, also the table and all its instruments, the candlestick with all its instruments, and the altar of incense, also the altar of incense with all its instruments, the law and its food. And thou shalt sanctify them, they shall be most holy. Whoever touch them shall be holy. You shall also anoint Aaron and his son and consecrate them, that they may exercise the priestly office for me. Moreover, you will speak to the children of Israel, saying, This will be a holy anointing for me for all your generations. No one shall anoint human flesh with it, nor shall you make any composition similar to it, for it is holy, and shall be holy to you. Whoever shall make a similar composition of it, or put some on a stranger, he shall be cut off from his people. The Lord said to Moses, Take this spice, pure myrrh, clear gum, and glabum, these odors, with pure frankincense of like weight. Then thou shalt make of it a perfume composed according to the art of the apothecary, mixed together, pure and holy. And thou shalt grind it into dust, and put it before the ark of the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation, where I will appoint thee. It shall be for thee most holy, and thou shalt not make any compound like unto this perfume, which thou shalt prepare. It shall be unto you holy unto the Lord. Whoever shall make such a one to perfume it, he shall be cut off from his people. The book of Exodus, chapter 31. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Behold, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Vera, the son of Hu, of the tribe of Judah, whom I have filled with the Spirit of God, in wisdom, in understanding, in knowledge, and in every work, to find curious work, to work in gold, silver, and bronze, also in the art of setting stones, and of cutting lumber, and of working in every way. And behold, I have joined to him Aholibah, the son of Abishma, of the tribe of Dan, and in the hearts of all who have wise hearts I have put wisdom to do all that I have commanded you. That is the tabernacle of the congregation, the ark of the testimony, and the miscard that shall be on it, with all the instruments of the tabernacle, also the table and its instruments, the pure candlestick with all its instruments, and the altar of fragrance, also the altar of roast with all its instruments, and the luau with its instrument, and also the garment of the mystery, and the holy garment of Aaron the priest, and the garment of his sons, to exercise the priestly office, and anointing oil and perfume for the sanctuary, according to what I have commanded you. Afterward the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak also to the children of Israel, and say, Nevertheless keep my Sabbath, for it is a sign between me and you in your generation, that you may know that I, the Lord, sanctify you. You shall therefore keep the Sabbath, for it is holy to you. Whoever defies it shall die of death. Therefore, whoever walks therein shall be cut off from this people. 6 days shall men work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, sacred to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day shall die of death. Therefore, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, that they may observe rest of all their generation for an everlasting time. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel for eternity, because in the 6 days the Lord made the air and the earth, and on the seventh day he stopped and rested. So when the Lord had finished communing with Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him 2 tablets of the testimony, tablets of stone written with the finger of God. The book of Exodus, chapter 32. But when the people heard that Moses had tarried a long time before he came down from the mountain, the people gathered against Aaron and said to him, Let your gods go before you. For of this Pharaoh, the man who brought you out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him. Aaron said to them, Take out the golden earrings that are in the ears of your wives and sons and daughters, and bring them to me. All the people tore off the golden earrings that were in the ears and brought them to Aaron. And the latter received them into his hands and clothed them with the golden tola and made a sack of lime. Then he said, These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of your land of Egypt. When Aaron had this, he built an altar before it, and Aaron proclaimed, Tomorrow's day shall be the holy day of the Lord. And the next day they rose up in the morning and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offering, and the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go, come down, for you people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt have corrupted their ways. They have thus departed from the way that I had commanded them. For they have made themselves a molten lime and worshipped it and offered it to you, saying, These are your gods, O Israel, whom I brought you out of the land of Egypt. Then the Lord said to Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, they are a stiff-necked people. Now therefore leave me alone, that my wrath may be kindled against them, for I will consume them, but I will make you a mighty people. But Moses praised the Lord his God and said, O Lord, why is your anger kindled against your people, whom you brought out of the land of Egypt with great power and a mighty hand? Therefore shall the Egyptians speak and say, Hast thou brought them forth with wickedness to kill them on the mountains and to consume them out of the land? Remember Abraham and Isaac and Israel, your servants, to whom you gave yourself in marriage, and said to them, I will multiply your descendants like the stars of heaven, and all this land of which I have spoken I will give to your descendants, and they shall inherit it forever. Then the Lord changed his mind with respect to the evil he had threatened to do to his people. Moses returned and came down from the mountain with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand. The tablets were written on both sides, on either side. These tablets were God's work, and this writing was God's writing, found in the tablet. When Joshua heard the noise of the people shouting, he said to Moses, This is a noise of war in the army. The latter answered, It is not the noise of those who have won, nor the noise of those who are coming, but I hear the sound of singing. Now, as soon as he approached the army, he saw the kafel and the dancing. Then Moses' anger was kindled, and he took the tablet out of his hand and smacked them to pieces on the mountain. Then he took the calf they have made, burnt it in the fire, reduced it to dust, threw it on the water, and made the children of Israel drink of it. Moses also said to Aaron, What has these people done to you, that you should cause them to commit so great a sin? Then Aaron answered, let not the wrath of my Lord be frightened. You know these people who are always bent on evil. They said to me, build gods to go before you, for we do not know what has become of this Moses, the man who brought the people out of the land of Egypt. Then I said to them, you who have gold, pluck it out. And they brought it to me, and I threw it into the fire, and out came the slime. Moses then said that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked to their shame in the midst of the enemies. And Moses stood at the gate of the campus and said, whoever is of the Lord's jurisdiction, let him come to me. And all the sons of Leo gathered toward him. Then he said to them, thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, put each one his sword by his side, go this way and that way, from gate to gate, through the army, and kill each one his brother, each one his companion, each one his neighbor. So the sons of Leo did as Moses had commanded. And on the same day the people assembled with about 3,000 men. For Moses had said, today consecrate your hands to the Lord, each for his son and for his brother, that the blessing may be given you today. When morning came, Moses said to the people, you have committed a great crime, but now I will go to the Lord, if I can pacify him for your sin. Moses went again to the Lord and said, these people have committed a great sin and have made themselves gods of gold. Therefore now, if you will forgive their sin, your mercy will appear. But if you will not, please blot me out of your book that you have written. Then the Lord said to Moses, whoever has sinned against me, I will blot him out of my book. Go therefore and lead the people to the place I have commanded you, before my anger will go before you. But on the day of my visitation, I will visit their sin. Thus the Lord tormented the people because they had induced Aaron to make the call that he had made. The book of Exodus, chapter 33. Then the Lord said to Moses, depart from here, you and the people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt, to the land which I swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, I will give it to your descendants. I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusite, and the Jebusite, in a land I say flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go with you, for you are a stiff-necked people, except to consume you on the way. When the people heard these great speeches, they were saddened, and no one wore his best clothing. For the Lord has said to Moses, say to the children of Israel, you are a stiff-necked people. I will suddenly come upon you and consume you. So now remove your costly garment from you, that I may know what to do with you. So the children of Israel laid down their fine garment after Moses had come down from Mount Horeb. Then Moses took his tabernacle and pitched it far from the army and called it Ohemolod. And when anyone addressed the Lord, he went out to the tent of meeting, which was outside the hostel. And when Moses went out to the tabernacle, all the people rose up and stood, each to his own tent, and stood looking at Moses until he had entered the tabernacle. As Moses entered the tabernacle, the pillar of cloud came down and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle, and the Lord spoke to Moses. Now, when all the people saw the pillar of cloud stop at the entrance of the tabernacle, all the people stood up and worshipped, every man in his tent. The Lord spoke to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. After that, he went again to the host. But his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, did not depart from the tabernacle. Then Moses said to the Lord, see, you said to me, let this people depart, and you have not told me whom you wish to send with me. Rather, you said, I know you by name, and you have found favor in my eyes. Now, therefore, I pray you, if I have found favor in your eyes, show me now your way, that I may know you and find favor in your eyes Consider also that this nation is your people. He answered, My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Then he said to him, If your presence does not go with you, do not take your way, and there will it be known that I and your people have found comfort in your eyes. Will it not between you go, and then I and your people will have preeminence over all the peoples that are on the earth. The Lord said to Moses, I will also do this that you have said, for you have found favor in my eyes, and I know you by name. Then he said, Please show me your glory. And he answered, I will cause all my good to go before you, and I will proclaim the name of the Lord before you. For I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Moreover, he said, Thou cannot see my face, for there is no man that seeth my that liveth. The Lord also said, Behold, there is a place by me, and you shall stand over the tower. While my glory passeth by, I will put thee in a cleft of the log, and I will stroke thee with my hand as I pass by. Then I will remove my hand, and thou shalt see my hand in pass, but my face shall not be seen. Exodus chapter 34. The Lord said to Moses, Make yourself 2 tablets of stone like the first one, and I will write on the tablet the words that were in the first tablet, which you tore to pieces. Be ready in the morning that you may go early to Mount Sinai and wait for me on the top of the mountain. But no one shall go with you, nor shall anyone be seen in the whole mountain, nor shall sheep or cattle feed before this mountain. Then Moses built 2 tablets of stone like the first, got up early in the morning and went to Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him, and took the 2 tablets of stone in his hand. The Lord came down in the cloud, stood with him, and proclaimed the name of the Lord. Then the Lord passed before the face and cried, the Lord, strong, merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abundant in goodness and truth, who preserves mercy for thousands, who forgives iniquity, transgressions, and sin, who does not make innocent the wicked, who caused the iniquity of the fathers to fall on your children and on the children's children unto the 3rd and 4th generation. Then Moses hastened and prostrated himself on the ground and said, O Lord, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, that the Lord will now go with me, for they are a stiff-necked people, and forgive our iniquity and our sin, and take you as your inheritance. And he answered and said, Behold, I will make a conference before all your people, and I will do marvelous things such as have not been done in all the world, nor in all the nations. And all the people among whom you are shall see the work of the Lord, for it is a terrible thing that I will do with you. Observe diligently what I command thee this day. Behold, I will drive out before thee the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzite, the Jebusite, and the Jebusite. Take heed to thyself, and make no agreement with the inhabitant of the land whither thou goest, lest there be a cause of ruin among thee. But you shall flatten their altars, and cut up their images, and cut down their stables. For you shall not bow down to any other god, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. And do not make a covenant with the inhabitant of the land, and when they prostitute themselves to their gods and sacrifice to their gods, someone shall call you, and you shall eat of his sacrifice. And if thou shalt not take of their daughters for their sons, and their daughters shall whore themselves to their gods, and those shall cause thy sons to whore themselves to their gods. Thou shalt not make for themselves any gods of metal. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread for 10 days, and shalt thou eat veiled bread as I have commanded thee in the time of the month of Abib. For in the month of Abib thou camest out of Egypt. Every male that first opened his womb shall be mine. Also all the firstborn of thy flock shall be counted mine, both of bees and of sheep. But the first of thy sons shalt thou bring forth with a lamb, and if thou shalt not redeem him, thou shalt break his neck. All the firstborn of thy sons shalt thou redeem, and none shall stand before me empty. You shall work 6 days, and on the 7th day you shall rest. Both in the time of eve and in the time of rest you shall rest. You shall also observe the feast of weeks at the time of the first fruit of the grain harvest, and the feast of the harvest of fruit at the end of the year. 3 times in a year all your sons shall stand before the Lord Jehovah, God of Israel. For I will drive out the nations before you and enlarge your coast, so that no one will convert your land. When you come to present yourself before the Lord your God 3 times a year, thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with the dregs, and thou shalt not leave anything of the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover until the morning. You shall bring to the house of the Lord your God the first ripe fruit of your land, but you shall not put a kid goat in its mother's milk. The Lord said to Moses, write these words, for according to the tenor of this word, I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. So he stayed with the Lord for 4 days and 4 nights without eating bread or drinking water, and wrote in tablets the words of the covenant, that is the 10 Commandments. When Moses came down from Mount Sion, the 2 tablets of the testimony were in Moses' hand as he came down from the mountain. Now Moses did not notice that the skin of his face shone after God had spoken to him. And Aaron and all the sons of Israel looked at Moses, and behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him. But Moses called them, and Aaron and all the leaders of the congregation returned to him, and Moses talked with them. Then all the children of Israel came to him, and he questioned them about all that the Lord had told him on Mount Sinai. So Moses finished speaking with them and covered his face. But when Moses came before the Lord to speak with him, he took off his hold until he went out. Then he went out and spoke to the children of Israel about what he had been commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, how the skin of Moses' face shone. Therefore Moses put on his cloak over his face until he went out to speak with God. The book of Exodus chapter 35. Then Moses gathered together all the congregation of the children of Israel and said to them, these are the words which the Lord has commanded, that you may do them. 6 days you shall work, but the 7th day shall be for you the holy Sabbath day, rest of the Lord. Whoever works there shall die. You shall not kindle fire in all your dwellings on the Sabbath. Then Moses spoke to the whole community of the children of Israel, saying, this is what the Lord has commanded. Take from among you an offering for the Lord. Whoever is of good heart shall bring the offering to the Lord, gold, silk, and red, also white silk, purple, camel skins, fine linen, and goat skins, and the dead ram skin of red, and badger skins with wood of shittim, also oil for light, spices for anointing, and stones to set in the ephod and in the plate other crest of the crest. Let all who have a wise heart among you come and do all that the Lord has commanded. That is the tabernacle and its pavilion and its covering and its notches and its bars and its bars and its pillars and its sockets, the ark, its bars, its bronze seat and its roof, the table, its bar, all its instrument and its bread to eat, also the candlestick of light and its instrument, and its lamp with oil for light, also the altar of perfumes and its bars, and the oil for anointing, and the perfumed incense, and the tray of decoration at the entrance of the tabernacle, the altar of burnt offerings with its copper lattice, its bar and all its instruments, the laurel and its feet, the covering of the court, its pillar and its bases, and the vault of the gate of the court, the pinnacles of the tabernacles and the pinnacles of the court with their coats, the garment for the ministry in the holy place, the holy garment for Aaron, the priest, and the garment of his sons, that they may exercise the priestly office. Then the whole community of the children of Israel departed from Moses' presence, every person whose heart encouraged him, and every person whose spirit made him willing, came and brought an offering to the Lord for the work of the tabernacle of the congregation, for all its garments and for the holy garments. Men and women, as many as had free hearts, came and brought pendants, earrings, rings, and bracelets, all gold jewelry, and every one who offered a gold offering to the Lord. Also, all that had snow white silk, purple, camel skin, fine linen, goat skin, ram skin, and badger skins brought them. Everyone who offered an oblation of silk and red brought the offering to the Lord, and everyone who had shittim wood for any manual work brought it. All the women who had a white had spun with their hands and brought the spun work, that is, white silk, purple, knitting, and fine linen. Likewise, all the women whose hearts were moved by the wisdom spun gold. You chiefs brought stones and of oils and stones to set in the ephod and in the breastplate, also spices and oil for light, for anointing oil, and for sweet perfume. All the men and women of the children of Israel, whose hearts were willing to bear for all the work that the Lord has commanded to be done at the hand of Moses, brought a free will of offering to the Lord. Then Moses said to the Israelites, Behold, the Lord has called by name Bezalel, the son of Vera, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and filled him with an excellent spirit of wisdom and understanding and knowledge and all kinds of work, to find curious work, to work gold and silver and stone, and to set stones to work, wood, and to do all kinds of work. He took it into his heart to teach others, but he and Ahabor, the son of Abishemach of the tribe of Dan, and he filled them with wisdom of heart to work all manner of cunning, swill, and needlework in white silk, in purple, in leather, in fine linen, and in weaving, and to do all manner of works and secondary inventions. The book of Exodus, chapter 36. Then Bezalel, Ahiob, and all the wise men to whom the Lord had given wisdom and intelligence, to know how to perform all kinds of work for the service of the sanctuary, according to what the Lord had commanded. For Moses had called Bezalel and Aholiab and all the wise-hearted men in whose hearts the Lord had brought forth wisdom, as many as their hearts encouraged them, to come to that work to work it. And they received from Moses all the offerings that the children of Israel had brought for the work of the service of the sanctuary, to build it, and they also still brought him free gift every morning. So all the wise men who were working at all the holy work went out each from his own work, and spoke to Moses, saying, The people had bring too much and more than is necessary for the duration of the work which the Lord had commanded to be done. Then Moses gave an order that they had it proclaimed throughout the army, saying, Let neither man nor woman prepare any more work for the oblation of the sanctuary. Thus the people were restrained from offending, for the clothes they had was sufficient for all the work to be done, and even too much. Therefore, all the craft among the workmen made for the tabernacle 10 curtains of finely twisted linen, of light silk, of purple, and of leather. On them they made cherubim of red wood. The length of a curtain was 28 cubits, and the breadth of a curtain 4 cubits. The curtains were of all one size. He pitched 5 tents side by side, and 5 more he pitched. He made cords of white silk along the hem of one curtain in the edge of the coupling, and the same he did on the side of the other curtain in the edge of the second coupling. And he made 50 cords in one coil, and 50 cords in the hem of the other coil, which was in the second coupling, and the cords were set against each other. Then he made 50 notches of gold, and coupled the curtains to one another with the notches, so the tabernacle was one. He also made curtains of gold for the covering of the tabernacle. He made them in the shape of the curtains of elephants. The length of a curtain was 30 cubits, and the width of a curtain 4 cubits. The curtains of elephants were of one size. He made 5 curtains coupled together, and 6 curtains coupled together. He also made 50 cords on the hem of one curtain in the outer part of the coupling, and 50 cords on the hem of the other curtain in the second coupling. He also made 50 bracelets of copper, the coupling, so that it was one. He made a covering on the pavilion of sheepskin, dyed red, and a covering of badger skins on the outside. In the same way, he made boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood to be laid upon. The length of a table was 10 cubits, and the width of a table was 1 cubit and a half. One board had 2 tenons, set in order like the feet of a ladder, one against the other. So he did for all the boards of the tabernacle. For the south side of the tabernacle he made 22 boards, that is the whole south. Under the 22 boards he made 4 sockets of 2 boards. He made 4 sockets of 2 sockets under one board for each is 2 tenors, and 2 sockets under another board for each is 2 tenors. For the other side of the tabernacle also, towards the north, he made 22 boards, and 4 boards of silk, 2 boards under one board, and 2 boards under another board. Likewise, toward the west side of the tabernacle, he made 6 boards. At the corners of the tabernacle, he made 2 boards on either side, and he had them set under them and made them secure with a ring. So he did for both corners. So there were 8 boards and their 6 sockets of silk, and under each board 2 sockets. Then he made slates of shittim wood for the boards on one side of the tabernacle, and boards of firewood for the boards on the other side of the tabernacle, and boards of firewood for the boards of the tabernacle on the side of the west. He made the middlemost bar to go through the boards from one end to the other. He also made the bars of gold, made the rings of gold for the place of their bars, and covered the bars with gold. He also made a veil of puff scale, of purple, of skins, and fine twisted linen. He made it with cherubim of red wood, and he built thereon 4 pillars of shittim, and clothed them with gold. The hooks also were of gold, and he cast thereon 4 sockets of silk. For the tabernacle he made a scaffold of puffed silk, of purple, of leather, of linen, finely twisted, and needled work, and his 5 pillars with their hooks. He clothed the chapters and their fillet with gold, but their 5 sockets were of brazen. The book of Exodus, chapter 37. After this, Bezalel made the ark of shittim wood 2.5 cubits long, 1.5 cubits wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He covered it with gold to the inside and outside, and made a crown of gold all around it. And he cast it into 4 rings of gold for the 4 corners, that is, 2 rings for one side and 2 rings for the other side. He also made seats of shittim wood and covered them with gold. And he put the rods in the rings on the sides of the ark. To support the ark, he made the mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half was its length, and 1 cubit and a half its weight. He made 2 cherubim of gold at both ends of the mercy seat. He made them of wood beaten with hammer, a cherubim on one side and another cherubim on the other. Of the mercy seat he made the cherubim at the 2 ends. The cherubim spread their wings over them and covered the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces were towards each other. Towards the mercy seat were the faces of the cherubim. He also made a board of shittim wood, 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He covered it with fine gold and made a crown of gold around it. He also made it a border the width of a hand all around it, and he made on the other border a crown of gold all around it. He cast for it 4 rings of gold and placed them in the 4 corners that were at its 4 seats. Against the edge were the rings as places for the rods that were to support the table. He made the slats of shittim wood and covered them with gold to support the table. He also made the instrument for the table of pure gold, plates for the table, cups for the incense, goblets for the table, and cups for the table with which it was to be set. In the same way he built the candlestick of pure gold. The candlestick was made of material beaten with a hammer. Its shaft, its branches, its bullae, its snock, and its scales were of one piece. Out of its sides came 6 branches, 3 branches of the candlestick on one side and 3 branches of the candlestick on the other side. In one branch were 3 bubbles like almonds, a point and a flower, and in other branch were bubbles like almonds, a point and a flower, and so for all the 6 branches that came out of the candlestick. And the candlesticks were 4 bubbles like almonds with their tips and leaves. That is, for every 2 branches a knot of the second branch, and a knot for the third branch, according to the 6 branches that went out from it. The knots and the branches were of the same knot. It was all one wrought work of pure gold. He made for it 10 lamps with their spots and their spouts covers of pure gold. With 1 talent of pure gold he made it with all its instruments. Moreover, he made the altar of perfumes of wooden sheet. Its length was 1 cubit, its breadth 1 cubit, it was square, and 2 cubits high, and its horns were of the same material, and he clothed it with pure gold, both the top and the sides, all round about, and the horns, and made it a crown of gold all round under the crown at the 2 corners of the 2 sides, to put rods on it to hold it up. He also made the bars of wood of shittim and covered them with gold. He made the anointing oil and pour fragrant incense according to the act of the apothecaries. The book of Exodus chapter 38. He also made the altar of burnt offering from wood of shittim. Its length was 5 cubits and its width 5 cubits. It was square and 3 cubits high. He made him horns at the four corners. The horns were of the same wood, and he covered it with brass. He also made all the instruments of the altar, the ashtrays, the vessels, the basins, the meat hooks, and the censers. All the instruments he made of reeds. Moreover, he made a lattice of bronze worked like a net for the altar, below its surface and in the center of it, and he cast 4 bronze rings at the 4 ends of the lattice to put bars on it. He made the slate of shittim wood and covered them with brass. He put the slate into the rings and at the sides of the altar to carry it, and made it hollow within the bars. He also made the laurel of the reeds and its lower part of knits of the glasses of the women who gathered and met in the center of the tabernacle of meeting. Finally, he made the courtyard of the south side, all on the south side, and the coverings of the courtyard were of finely woven linen, measuring 100 cubits. Their pillars were 22, and their sockets 22. The hook of the pillars and their fleet were of silk. On the north side, the slopes were 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their socket of bronze 20, and their hooks for their pillars and their fillets were of silk. Also on the west side were a slate of 50 cubits, 10 columns with 10 sockets. The hooks of the columns and their fleet of silk towards the east side. In the full east there were slates of 50 cubits. The vestments on one side were 50 cubits. Their 3 columns and their 3 sockets. On the other side of the gate of the curtain on both sides were banners of 50 cubits. There 3 pillars and their 3 sockets. All the coverings of the courtyard all around were of finely twisted linen. The bases of the pillars were of reeds, the hooks of the pillars and the fleet of silk, the caps of silk, and all the pillars of the courtyard were encircled with silk. He also made the vestment of the gate of the courtyard with needle cloth of white silk, purple scarlet, and finely twisted linen, cubits long and 5 cubits high, like the vestment of the country yard. Their pillars were 4, with their 4 brass sockets, their silk hooks, their silk headdresses, and their silk fillets. All the pins of the tabernacle and of the country yard round about were of brass. These are the parts of the tabernacle that is the tabernacle of testimony, which was built by the commandment of Moses for the office of the Levites by the hand of Itamar, the son of Aaron the priest. Bezalel, the son of Zerah, the son of Hu of the tribe of Judah, did all that the Lord had commanded Moses, and with him Ahilobah, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, a skilled worker, an embroiderer and needle worker in the purple silk, in purple, in sight, and in fine linen. All the gold employed in all the work done for the holy place, which was the gold of the ring, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. But the amount of the gold of those who were numbered in the congregation was 100 talents and 1,275 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, a portion of each man that is half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary, for all those who had been numbered from the age of 20 years onward, between 600,000 and 300,050 men. Moreover, there were 100 talents of torpedoes to make the socket of the sanctuary and the socket of the sailing ship, 100 socket of 100 talents, a talent for a socket. He also made the hooks for the pillars of to the value of 1,050 shekels, and he covered the hooves of them, making flails around them. The cloth of the offering also was 70 talents, 2,400 shekels, and he made the basis of the tabernacle of meeting, and the altar of bronze, and the lattice of bronze that was thereon, with all the instruments of the altar, the sockets of the court round about, the sockets for the door of the court, all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about. The book of Exodus, chapter 39. Moreover, they made the garment for the ministry in the sanctuary of raw skill and purple and wool. They also made the holy garment for Aaron, as the Lord had commanded Moses. They then made the ephod of gold, of raw silk, purple, cloth, and fine twisted linen, and they made the gold into thin sheet, and cut it into meshes, to work it into white scale, purple, woolen cloth, and fine linen with twin work, for which they made shoulders to be coupled together, because it was closed by two edges, and the garnishing of his ephod, which was upon him, was of the same cloth and workmanship, of gold and of white silk, and of purple, and of cloth, and of fine linen, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And they made 2 stones of onyx, enclosed in an aperture of gold, and engraved, as one engraves a seal, with the names of the children of Israel. And they put them on the shoulders of ephod, as stones to remember the children of Israel, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He also made the covenant of fine clothes, like those of ephod, that is of gold, of white silk, of purple, of scales, and of finely twisted linen. They made the breastplates double, square, 1 hand long and 1 hand wide. It was also of double. They filled it with 4 rows of stones. The order was as follows: a ruby, and a topaz, a carbuncle in the first row. In the second row, an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. In the third, a turquoise, an acard, and a hermit. In the fourth row, a chrysolite, an onyx, and a jasper, closed and set in an opening of gold. So the stones were according to the names of the children of Israel, 2 after their names, as signs, each after his name, according to the 2 tribes. Then they made on the bottom table chiny plates at the ends of wood and pure gold. They also made 2 studs of gold and 2 rings of gold, and put the 2 rings at the 2 corners of the wooden plates. In the 2 rings at the corners of the covering slate, they also put 2 cheeks of gold. The other 2 ends of the 2 golden chains they also fastened into the 2 ends, and put them on the shoulders of the ephod on the front. In the same way, they made 2 rings of gold and put them in the other 2 corners of the breastplate on the edge of it, which was inside the ephod. They also made 2 other rings of gold and put them on the 2 sides of the ephod, underneath on the front side and outside against its coupling on the bordered edge of the ephod. Then they fastened the breastplate by each ring to the rings of the ephod with a lace of white silk, so that it would be fastened on the fluted garmenture of the ephod, and so that the breastplate would not come off the ephod, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moreover, he made the robe of the ephod of wool and white silk. The tunic was in the center, like a surgeon's collar, with a border around the collar, so that it would not tear. On the skirts of the robe they made pomegranates of white silk, purple, scarlet, and fine twisted linen. They also made bells of pure gold, and put them between pomegranate on the twin around the pomegranate, a bell and a pomegranate, a bell and a pomegranate around the skirts of the robe to officiate, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then they made clothes of fine linen of wool for Aaron and his sons, the mitre of fine linen, the bonnet of fine linen, and the breeches of twisted fine linen, and the braid of fine twinned linen, of blown silk, of pure, and of leather, always needlework, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Finally, they made the plate for the holy horn of the fine gold, and wrote on it an inscription similar to the engraving of a seal, guest of the Lord. Then they tied the lace of white silk of to fasten it on the messiah, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Thus was all the work of the tabernacle, that is, the tabernacle of the congregation, finished. And the children of Israel did all that the Lord had commanded Moses. So they did. Then they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tabernacle and all its instruments, its board, its plank, its bars, its pillars, and its sockets, the skins of the rams turned red, the badger skins, and the velvet skins, the ark of the testimony, its bars and the mercy seat, the table with all the instruments, and the children, and the dishcloth, the pure candlestick, its lamps, that is, the lamps ordained, all its instruments, and the oil for lights, the altar of gold, the oil for the lightning, the fragrant incense, and the hanging of the tabernacle, the bronze altar with its lattice of wood, its staffs and all its instruments, the law and its instruments, the courtyard contents with its pillars and sockets, the hanging at the courtyard door, its ropes and pinnacles, and all the instruments of the tabernacle service called the tabernacle of the congregation. Finally, the garments for the service in the sanctuary, the holy garment for Aaron, the priest, and the garments of his sons for the priest's service, according to each point that the Lord had commanded Moses. The sons of Israel did all the work, and Moses observed all the work, and behold, they had done as the Lord had commanded. So they had done, and Moses blessed them. The book of Exodus, chapter 40. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, on the very first day of the first month you shall prepare the tabernacle, called the tabernacle of the congregation. You shall place therein the ark of the testimony, and you shall fill it with the vial. You shall also bring in the table and arrange it as required. You shall also bring in the candlestick and light its lamp. Thou shalt set up the altar of golden incense before the ark of the tabernacle of the testimony, and thou shalt place the hanging at the end of the tabernacle. Moreover, you shall place the altar of the burnt offering before the porch of the tabernacle, called the tabernacle of the congregation. You shall make a washing place between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and you shall put water there. Then you shall lay the courtyard all around it, and hang the scaffolding on the door of the courtyard. Then thou shalt take the anointing ointment, and thou shalt anoint the tabernacle and all that is therein, and thou shalt array it with all its instruments, that it may be holy. Thou shalt anoint the altar of burnt offering, and all its instruments, and shall sanctify the altar, that it may be most holy altar. You shall also anoint the lower and its instrument, and sanctify it. Then you shall lead Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tabernacle of meeting, and you shall wash them with water. Then you shall put on Aaron's holy garment, anoint him and sanctify him, that he may exercise the priestly ministry with me. You shall also bring his sons and clothe them with garments, and you shall sanctify them as you sanctify their father, that they may exercise the priestly ministry with me. For their sanctification shall be a sign that the priesthood shall be everlasting to all their generation. Moses did so according to all that the Lord had commanded him, and so he did. So the tabernacle was built on the first day of the first month of the second year. And Moses built the tabernacle and fixed its foundation and fastened its boards and set up its bars and raised its pillars. Then he leveled the covering of the tabernacle and put the covering on the outside of it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then he took and put the testimony in the ark, put the bars and the rings of the ark, and placed the mercy seat on the ark. He also brought the ark into the tabernacle, hung the meeting craft on it, and coupled the ark of the testimony, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moreover, he put the table in the tabernacle of the congregation in the north side of the tabernacle without the rampart. And he set the bread in order before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He also put the candlestick in the tent of meeting opposite the table towards the south side of the tabernacle. You light the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. He also set the golden altar in the tent of meeting in front of the table, and burned fragrant incense on it, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moreover, he hung the veil at the entrance to the tabernacle. Then he placed the altar of burnt offerings outside the tabernacle, called the tabernacle of the congregation, and offered burnt offerings and sacrifices there, as the Lord had commanded Moses. In the same way, he set up the wash stand between the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, and put water there for washing. So Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and feet there when they entered the tent of meeting, and when they came to the altar, they washed as the Lord had commanded Moses. Finally, he raised up the country yard around the tabernacle and the altar, and hung up the rampart at the door of the country yard. So Moses finished the work. Then the cloud enveloped the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses could not enter the tabernacle of the congregation, because the cloud dwelt there, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Now, when the cloud went up from the tabernacle, the children of Israel went forth on all their journeys. But if the cloud did not go up, they did not go on their journey until the day it went up. For the cloud of the Lord was on the tabernacle by day, and the fire was in it by night, before the eyes of all the house of Israel during all their journey.